Hello, hello, hello. I hope you are doing well. Welcome to another live stream. Gotta look to make sure I'm in focus. Hello, welcome to another live stream. I hope everything is going really well for you. Christian Plays, hello. Nice to see you. How are you today? I hope everybody is doing well. We're gonna be playing some Elden Ring. I was just getting everything ready. I know I'm a little bit late, but Nora's home. Happy Easter to everybody who celebrates Easter. Nora is home, so I'm not in a gigantic rush to get out of here at the same time as usual, which means there's a little bit less stress. So hopefully that means the stream will go okay. Sookwinder, I'm sorry. Hello, thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, just wait till you see my gameplay. You may not be so excited then. But welcome, McBox, I think is how it said. It's really, really blue on my screen. The background's blue, so it's hard for me to see, but I think that's what it says. Christian Plays, I'm glad you're doing well. Hope life is treating you well. Nice, Christian. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Congratulations. It's always exciting when you have somebody new and exciting in your life. That's awesome. But yeah, I don't have any major news for today. Yeah, we're just gonna play some video games and play some Elden Ring and try to figure out what the heck we're supposed to be doing. I think we were just kind of wandering around last time. Oh, we found the little fox wolf guy and we beat him, and that's where we stopped. So that's what we're gonna continue with, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Just MC? Okay, I'll stick with MC. I'll try to remember. I'll try to remember. I have a bad memory. But yeah, we'll get started. We'll do that. Oh, I haven't even started the game, so I should probably start that while I'm sitting here talking to everybody. Hey, stop clicking. Why is it doing that? That's so weird. What is going on here? My mouse is like freaking out. What? That is... Whoa, my mouse is freaking out. Oh god, I hope this doesn't lead to big problems. Okay, apparently it wants to keep clicking and dragging my GoXLR app. And it's just like everywhere I move my mouse, the GoXLR app moves, even though I'm not clicking it. It's really weird. I don't know. Nothing else seems to be moving though. Maybe it's the GoXLR. Hopefully it's not the mouse. Okay, open up my library. Elden Ring. And play. Hopefully that is good and we're gonna get started. Nice, Christian. How did you find it? I've heard some pretty negative reviews. A lot of people are saying that it's really broken, like the port is a terrible port. That it's gotten like mostly negative reviews on the Steam review thing that they do, because of how bad the port is, which is not really a surprise. It seems like most of PlayStation's ports have been really bad at the beginning and then they get better. Like I know Days Gone got like crucified with how bad it was. Same with Horizon. But I have been playing through most of Days Gone and it seems to be good now. And the little bit, like the hour that I played with Horizon seems to be running perfectly fine. So I've heard really bad things, but I'm gonna assume in a few months they're gonna have it fixed perfectly. You got lucky on your copy. It's not so much that the copy would have been good, because if the problem is there, it's on every copy. It's impossible for like a one copy not to have it. It's that your hardware setup happens to be the right kind of hardware setup to not need it. So you're lucky that your hardware setup's good. But yeah, apparently it's been like ripped apart with being a really underwhelming port. And a lot of people were really disappointed because it's a nice remake. And apparently it was just not a good port, but it's the same that's been happening with almost all of Sony's ports. Despite Sony being, you know, the leader in the market when it comes to gaming, they're the biggest morons when it comes to PC gaming and handheld gaming. They think they know it all because they know one platform. They don't understand that there's stuff that they have no idea about. So it seems like usually they're playing catch up. After they release the game, they have to try to fix it, and it's kind of disappointing, you know? 16 gigabytes is the minimum? Holy crap, that's pretty big for a game. Hello, Deacon. Nice to see you. The Dark, hello to you as well. I'm good. Sorry I'm starting a little bit late, everybody. I had a really rough night's sleep. I ended up going to sleep like 3:30, almost 4 in the morning. I had gone to bed at like 2, but I was getting ready to go to bed at 2, and then my dryer hadn't fully dried my bed sheets, so I had to wait a little bit longer. I ended up going to bed at like 3:30, and then at 8 o'clock I got the worst stomach cramps and it woke me up, And then I couldn't get back to sleep till about 10, and then I woke up at 11. So I slept about maybe 6 hours, but it was broken sleep, so it's not very, like, it wasn't very restful. So I took my time, made sure I had breakfast, showered, got ready, did everything that I could to make my morning routine feel less pressure, and then and hopefully that would make it better for the stream. And I'm feeling okay because Nora's home. She got her tablet. We're okay. We're not in a huge rush, so that helps. That definitely helps. The 1660 performed well. 40 to 50 frames. That's not bad. That's not bad. I'm hoping that the port gets better support. Like, I've got a far more powerful computer, and I'm hoping that it'll run well on it. I just haven't bought it. I'm not planning to anytime soon. I don't have the money. The little bit of money that I do have, I have earmarked for certain things. That game's gonna be one of those ones that when I find it on a really deep sale, I'll get it. In other news, I am hoping to be able to test Dead Island 2. I am really excited about that. That's another one that I've heard some mixed reviews about. Not that the game was bad, it's just that it was the same as the first Dead Island from what I've heard, that it's not innovative. It's just the same old. That it's fun, but it's nothing new. So I'm excited for it because I like Dead Island 1. This is supposed to be much more arcadey and more like video gamey than Dead Island 1 was. So I'm really hoping it's going to be an insanely fun time for me. I'm so excited. Merle, hello, nice to see you. We win, hello. Still not done with the PC. Oh man, I never feel like I'm done with my PC either. Like, I bought the 3070 and then the 40 series came out. I don't want the 40 series though. From what I've seen with the performance differences, it's not worth the price. I'm pretty happy with where I am right now. I might want to get a better CPU down the line, but for now I'm pretty happy. I'm good, Merle. Hey, Preston, how's it going? You decided to play the Telltale Walking Dead? I haven't played that in a long time. I should replay that. I have, MC. I beat Margit, and I've beaten like a few optional bosses. Right now I just did like the red wolf guy in the church or whatever. I'm really bad with names, I'm sorry. That's what I did, and that's when we ended the stream, so that's where we were. Oh, nice, we win. Nice. I actually just upgraded, not just, the last thing I did in my computer was upgrade to water cooling, because I was using air cooling, and what happened? I was using air cooling and my computer started to reset, and it was giving me a code that it was overheating. So I knew I needed to redo the thermal paste on my computer. I hadn't done it in a couple of years. So I knew I needed to redo the thermal paste, and I needed to redo Alana's. And so in the process of doing that, when I was at the computer store, I noticed that they had an air cooler thing. It was an open box, so I was taking a risk, but it was 30% off. So it was like $140 all-in-one water cooler, but I ended up getting it for like $70, and I couldn't pass that up. So I got it and I installed that, and I'm really happy with it. I haven't noticed any major like performance gains, but the funny thing is everything that I read online says that water cooling is louder than air cooling. But in my case, the air cooling, the fan was going really fast to keep up, and with the water cooling, it's quieter. It's not that it's quieter, it's that it's a more pleasant sound. The air cooling that I had a single fan, and it sounded very like whiny when it went up. It was like when it would go fast, whereas this is more like a, so it's much like, I know my impressions are amazing, I know. It's much more, it's just a more soothing sound versus like the whiny fan sound, so I'm happy with it. I like water cooling. 125 in euros, so it's a pretty good one then. It's got to be a pretty good one then. Yeah, maybe that's who it was. MC, I can't remember. Oh my god, Preston, I'm so looking forward to it. I've been talking to my brother a whole bunch about it. I'm still waiting. He bought it. I'm still waiting for the, oh, dang it. I'm still waiting for the PSVR 2. Like that's my big there we go. Tiger, thank you so much. 25 months. Holy crap. No way.
Wild.
How are you? I don't get to see your beautiful face on my For You page as often as I used to. I hope you're doing well. I hope life is treating you okay. Yeah, MC, and that's exactly it. That's exactly it. It's able to maintain a smoother cooldown like arc, I guess. Obviously the downside to water cooling is eventually it reaches full saturation and it's very hard for it to keep cool after that, whereas like fan cooling, air cooling takes a lot longer to reach that saturation point because the fan is able to cool the fins a lot longer with the air. But I'm not overclocking. I'm not doing anything crazy. Like I play VR. That's when my computer really gets loud, is when I'm doing full VR for like 20-30 minutes. But streaming doesn't really do much to my PC. Not much more than like regular gaming does. So I'm pretty happy with that. You know, makes me happy. Whoops, fat fingers. Tiger, I hope life is treating you really well. And what class? I didn't really decide on a class. I'm just kind of upgrading. I've gone a little bit more dexterity based. I'm doing it pretty close to even. Like I'm evenly going between dex and strength. And then obviously stamina and my health. But I haven't really like gone full class mode. Whoops. When I usually play games for the first time, I try to go like super randomized, I guess. I don't really worry about classes until the next rounds when I start trying to make things more interesting to give myself a bit of a challenge. Am I back on your For You page? Oh my god, I've been like missing on the For You page. My numbers have been in the swamp. Last night, here's a little tidbit for those who do watch me on TikTok. Oh man, my TikTok. Oh, I tabbed away. That's why. Okay, hold on. I was missing all the TikTok stuff. Spiritual Booty, happy Friday to you. Are you at work today, or do you get today off? You need 3 achievements or 100% on Elden Ring. That's amazing. I'm never gonna get there. I'm never gonna get there. So what I was saying is I haven't really been on the For You page very much. It's kind of disappointing. But it has to do more with my lack of consistency in content, and a lot of my content has been like handheld BS, nothing really interesting for me to say. So when I do something good, it usually doesn't gain traction because nothing else has been gaining traction. But here's the little tidbit, like a little insider note for everybody who's watching and that follows me on TikTok. I have started to rewrite some of my scripts for like my multi-part videos that I did on TikTok, and for a couple of the really long videos I did on YouTube. I'm rewriting the script to make long form videos on TikTok. I'm going to try to release them once a week, once every 2 weeks roughly. So right now I'm working on a Resident Evil one. It's actually going to turn out to be longer than it was on YouTube. On YouTube it was 9 minutes, and there was many moments in the video where I left just like gameplay footage with me not saying anything. It seems like it might be the full 9 minutes with me talking the whole time. Because I'm trying to make it sound a bit better than I did in the original. Also in the original I was very low energy, so I'm going to try to make it sound better. But I'm working on that, and I've gotten a couple of other ideas that I'm hoping to film tonight, so I can start getting some stuff up again, for better or worse. But it's nice to be back creating content. It's been a long time. I miss it. I miss making content. Always working. Yeah, you never really get holidays off, which kind of sucks. I don't miss that. Level 230 on his first. Holy crap. That's crazy. That is crazy. Resident Evil 4, I'm close to the part when you fight. Oh man, it's gonna be so good, Preston. It's gonna be so good. Honestly, it's gonna be such a good ogre fight. I bet you he's gonna look amazing. I accidentally saw just an image. It didn't wreck anything, but just how whatever Salazar. You know that little guy that doesn't like a Leon and he thinks he is trouble. That guy. I saw a picture of him. It looks so good. It looks so good. It is, Tiger. It's very hard to get back into the swing of it. More than anything, it's just kind of okay, so it was hard to get back into it because I was enjoying not having the stress, right? It can be really, really frustrating when your day is going really well and then one jerk comes through and has to leave some hateful comment. And then like you like, for me, I'll try to, you know, correct what they've said wrong or whatever in like the nicest way possible, and then they'll double down and they'll almost do it in like a condescending, mocking way, but they're the morons who misunderstood the video or misread what you said, and then they're talking to you like you're too stupid, and then my own like ego and anger get in the way, and then it ruins my day. Which is what happened recently with the one guy. I ended up making all the videos followers only, or like friends only, except for the first response. But like that one idiot, he comments that I'm stupid because the game that I was saying was causing problems for the Xbox is 30 years old, and if like, how is a 30-year-old game going to ruin a console? And so I was like, well, I'm not talking about a 30-year-old game. That was the whole thing. Like, he even got it wrong off the start. What the hell happened? It turned off. Oh, this one. What is up with my lights? I think they're starting to fail. My lights are starting to fail, I think. Anyways, and so I was like, yeah, it's actually like the series is 30 years old, but like the game I'm talking about isn't even out yet. And then he's like, well, if it was Halo, I'd believe you. It's like, wait, what the hell are you talking about? I don't know what you mean by Halo. Like, what? Where the hell does Halo have? Like, where does that come in? And it was like, I'm not saying that my prediction is that this game is going to make Xbox fail. I'm saying that developers of the game are saying Xbox isn't keeping up. And then he started like doubling down with like the whole thing of basically saying something like that I was trying to say that if this game doesn't sell on Xbox, then Xbox is dead. And I was like, I'm not talking about a game being on Xbox or not being the issue. I'm talking about how the developers can't code for Xbox properly. That's the discussion I'm having. Not that the game is the issue. It's that the game is the example of developers struggling. He's like, yeah, but you're using that as the example, saying that this game is going to be the fail. It's like, oh my God, not only are you stupid, but you're a liar, because now when I've clarified it, you're still, and that even now I'm getting frustrated, because like, not only was he doubling down, but like, he was doubling down on an argument that I wasn't making. Like, if I had been making the argument that, like, you know, if this game doesn't come to the Xbox, then it's a failure. But my whole point is, hey, the game can't come to the Xbox because the hardware is underpowered. And so the underpowered hardware is causing issues, and that's going to be the downfall. And he just kept going on and on about how I was arguing that the game was the problem. He even got to the point where he was saying that I couldn't handle being called out on my BS, and that's why I was upset. And it's like, no, man, I'm upset because talking to stupid people makes me angry. Like, talking to really stupid people makes me angry. And it was just so frustrating. So that part is really hard to kind of get back in the motivation of making content when, like, people get mad at you for something you didn't say, right? And like, this guy was so dumb, because at first I thought he was just trolling and just being a jerk, but then I started to realize that he was actually dumb, because he would argue with other people as if he was talking to me. Like, he was too stupid to see who he was even arguing with. Like, one guy comments, you know, dude, he's already clarified and he's not saying what you think he's saying. And then he responds back going, dude, it's your video, just read your caption. To that guy. I hadn't commented. This was their own little comment thing. And then he's arguing with him, saying that he's lying because it's his video. And so I chime in and I'm like, dude, it's not his video. He goes, yeah, it is. It's your video. You're arguing. You're just making up your own world. Like, so it becomes so frustrating, because, yeah, exactly. Realizing that they're just like a stupid person. They're not just being like a toxic gamer, but they're a toxic gamer who's an idiot, is so infuriating. It can really ruin your day so quickly. So that part is really hard to kind of get back into the groove. And then it's also hard when I put in a lot of effort into a video and then it doesn't get any views. Sorry, I'm kind of going off on a tangent. Let me just, I'm not going to show you, but let me look here at numbers. So I did a really long Dark Souls 2 video, which I liked. The comments that I got seemed to be very, very like positive about the video. It's got 6,000 views. That video took me 5 hours to do. For 6,000 views, it just doesn't feel worth it for me, right? Let me see. Then everything else is basically under 1,000. There's a couple that have broken 2,000. So the motivation's really not there when I'm busting my butt and it's not getting anything above what my other videos are. You know, before that, my best video was one that did 34,000, which was like a month ago. So the motivation is really hard to kind of get back into the swing of making content when I put in a bunch of work and it gets the same views as me pulling out a phone for 30 seconds and making a video. So it's demoralizing to go through that. And then on top of that, just like finding the motivation to look up the stuff that I need to make videos on it's hard to kind of get into that mindset. Because like I'll get up and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stream, and once I'm done streaming, I'm gonna spend an hour just like Googling stuff. But then it's like, what do I want to talk about? What games do I find interesting? Because I want to talk about stuff I find interesting. I'm not going to talk about a game I know nothing about. Like, I'm not going to talk about Call of Duty if I don't play Call of Duty. But then I'm like, you know what? How many games do I actually play? Being neurodivergent, I kind of fixate on the same games. It's hard for me to find new games to find news about, or find new games to talk about, like Easter eggs and stuff. Especially because when I don't know enough about the game, I get called out and roasted to hell, which is what happened with Bloodborne. I did a video where I talked about something about like they wore rags over their eyes, and I read a couple of articles that said that they did that because they had no eyes or something. I can't remember. And every other comment is correcting it. Now, I was wrong, so that's fine. But it's just constantly being reminded that I put out a video that was wrong makes me not want to put out a video on a game that I don't know much about. Because I know that if I'm wrong, I'm going to hear about it for the next 6 months. And I don't want to take it down because that hurts the algorithm. So like all of that kind of adds up. So it's really hard to kind of get into that groove. So I'm just trying to just put stuff up all the time and not worry about the quality. But I do need to get back into quality. In the summertime, some stuff's going to change around here. And I'll have a lot more time to be able to spend on videos. And then I'm hoping to like always put out high quality videos for every video. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Exactly. When you're not hyper fixated, it's really hard. And once you're fixated, it's really, really easy to just go. Right now, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that have me stressed out. And so like I'm not super motivated in anything. So I'm just trying to like bide my time till this is over. And then I'll be okay again. But for now, I'm kind of like, you know? Oh, well, Pokemon, how you doing? How's it going, man? Falcon, I hope your day is going well, dude. Yeah, man, it's frustrating. The shiny apes, you should appreciate all your viewers, not the 30K plus. Shiny apes. It's not a good look when you're not listening to the whole conversation. Because what I was talking about wasn't about how many views I'm getting being the issue. It was talking about like trying to get back into the swing of having the drive to make high quality videos. It wasn't about that my viewers aren't watching me. So it's not a good look when you come in trying to like belittle someone's conversation without actually hearing the whole conversation. What I was saying was that I spend hours and hours on one video and it'll get the same views as me pulling out a phone. It has nothing to do with like, oh, my views aren't good, I'm not doing well. It's the, I can't justify spending, you know, an hour doing a 30-second video when I can spend 2 minutes doing a 30-second video and get the same views. That's what it was about. And how, like, I've been away from, like, constantly making content for a while. And now that I'm back in, it's hard to fall into the groove of doing the high-quality stuff for every single video when I could just be lazy and do a 30-second video and it'll be exactly the same result. It had nothing to do with the views or the actual, like, viewers or me not appreciating my viewers. Because if that was the case, I'd be complaining about the fact that I've got, what, 5 people watching me on TikTok? When I first started, I was getting over, like, 90 watching me. I'd be complaining about that. But I'm not, because I'm happy with, like, anybody coming to watch me. So it's not a good look when you come in making a judgment call when you didn't actually hear the conversation. So maybe you should work on that, because I wasn't complaining about my views. Your PC is working, yay! Bonus! I bought too much food, the amount I eat. Oh, your eyes were hungrier than your stomach was. I know that feeling. I know that feeling. Guys, remember how I was talking about stupid people and how they make stupid comments and then they double down on the stupid comment? Example, the shiny apes. Making a judgment call on a conversation they didn't hear the whole conversation of, and then turns around and says, this is the reason why people don't watch you. You don't like being called out for your stupidity. That's a you problem, not a me problem. Right? I mean, I got 10 people watching me over on Twitch, and that's more than like 85% of Twitch streamers. So it is what it is. It's cool if I hurt your feelings, but don't be a douchebag. It's as simple as that. That's all it is. Right? And that's the funny thing is, like, okay, so at first I wouldn't really be as blunt when I would call out stupid people. But the funny thing is, the less I care about how many people are watching me, because the numbers don't matter, the less I care about censoring myself about stupid people making stupid comments. So I mean, it's kind of funny that this person is trying to use me being uncensored as a way to say that, like, I care so much about numbers and I'm a terrible person. But the proof is in the pudding. I'm willing to call a viewer stupid because I don't care about the numbers. I only want people who want to be here to be here. You know what I mean? It's so stupid. Exactly, Tara. Exactly. But like, it's dumb. Basically, the whole conversation was, somebody asked me if I'm finding it hard to get the motivation to kind of, you know, get back into the swing of things as being a content creator. And I was talking about how, like, I'm finding it hard to find the motivation to do the high quality videos because they'll take me a very long time, and, you know, they'll get like, you know, 3,000 views, and then I can like pull out my phone and it'll also get like 3,000 views. So it's very hard for me to spend an hour doing a 30-second video when I can spend, you know, a minute doing a 30-second video on my phone. The quality isn't there, and the high standard isn't there. But if the viewership doesn't change either way, it's hard for me to kind of get the motivation to set up the lights and write a script and get the, you know, color grading and all that kind of stuff. When I can just pull out my phone and say something stupid, and then that's it, and I get the same viewership. And that, like, the numbers have just kind of been everywhere. So it's hard to get that motivation to put in all that extra work. And then this moron walks in and it's like, well, you should appreciate all your viewers. Like, the way you talk, it shows that you don't care, that you only care about numbers, or it's not a good look or whatever. But it's like that. The complaint wasn't, oh, my numbers suck, I'm so upset. The complaint was, no matter how hard I work, the numbers are the same. So, like, why am I going to work harder if I could just be lazier and get the same numbers? It had nothing to do with the viewership. It had more to do with, like, me not finding a reason to put in all the extra effort. Right? Jack playing games, hello, thank you so much, dude. I appreciate it. Think of it this way. If I'm going to make a burger from home, I could go and like slaughter the cow myself and grind the beef to make the burger, or I could just buy a frozen burger or a frozen beef to make the same burger. In the end, I still get a burger that tastes really, really good. So why am I going to go through all the work of slaughtering a cow and prepping all the meat and then grinding it to make the same thing that I could just go and get a grocery store ground beef from, right? There's less motivation to do all that extra work, is what I'm saying. Exactly. And it's like, and again, it's the whole, like, why am I going to put in all that extra work for nothing? Like, for no extra outcome, right? It's not like a regular job where, like, if I go in and put in extra hours, I can move ahead in my progress, or I can, you know, make more sales or whatever. Here, it's like, if I'm going to do 3 or 4 hours of work, I'm going to do it for me. But right now I'm in a place where I don't really care about the quality that I'm putting out, because I'm still reaching the same amount of people. And that's all that matters to me, is that I'm reaching anybody. You know, I've got a video that's been going viral for friggin' weeks now. And I did that like 6 months ago. So like, I know that I have people that are interested in my stuff. I'm just not motivated to put in the hard work, because it's not something that is tangibly even, you know what I mean? It's not like you put in 6 hours of work, you get 6 hours result. It's, I can put in 10 minutes of work or 6 hours of work, and I'm going to get the same variant on results. It just depends on who sees it. It depends on what I'm talking about, if it's something interesting or not, and that's all it is. It has nothing to do with like the viewers. But some people are just like, they're out there to just like, it's that toxic positivity type of thing. You know what I mean? Like nobody is allowed to have any, not negative feeling, but like nobody is allowed to not be 100% positive 100% of the time. But I think I wasn't even being negative when I was saying, hey, I just don't want to put in all the extra work for the same viewer reach and kill myself when it's not necessary. Like I'm not, right now I've got a lot going on in my life. I'm not going to spend all this time doing that. If I'm not going to reach anything extra, I can just pull out my phone and do it. So the motivation to be the high-end quality stuff just isn't there for me right now. Exactly, Spiritual Booty. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Jack, I hope you're doing well. I hope life is treating you really, really well. Hope life isn't too stressful. Spider-Man 3. I don't think you know, this is how old I am. You know what my childhood nostalgia with Spider-Man is? I actually still have it. Hold on. This is my Spider-Man childhood nostalgia right here. This was Spider-Man on the N64. It was not open world. It was, you know, you could swing along the buildings, but everything was fog, and if you fell, you died. So you couldn't touch the floor or the ground. It had Stan Lee as the narrator in the game. And then there was the second one. The second one was really good too, but this was the one that I played a lot of. I played that one a whole lot. I bought it specifically for the nostalgia, but I haven't actually played it ever on stream. I turned it on to see that it worked, and then I just never played it. But this I bought for the nostalgia specifically. Oh, makes me feel so old when I hear like 360. I'm like, oh man, I'm old. I'm so old. Oh man, the N64, I love it. The only games I'm missing for the N64, like I have an okay collection of games. The only games that I buy are games that I have a connection to. I don't really buy games that are just popular. I buy games that I feel connected to, that I like, that I feel something towards. When it comes to the N64, the only ones I haven't gotten my hands on that I want to, and now they're probably even more expensive, but I couldn't bring myself to spend the money, was Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. I miss those. And there was a WCW versus NWO wrestling game. I can't remember which one it was, but there was one of those that I really liked. Those are like the three games that I really wish that I had on the N64. When it comes to the PlayStation 1, I wish I had the original Metal Gear, and I wish that I had Silent Hill. I have Resident Evil 2. I wouldn't mind Resident Evil 1 and 3 as well. But Silent Hill is really hard to find. I'm in talks with a friend who I met on TikTok, and she works at a video game store. I'm gonna see if she can get me one, but I gotta see how much it's gonna cost to ship and everything. But I'm so excited. I'm so looking forward to like collecting those few games. But outside like my NES collection, I've got everything that I want. I don't think there's any NES games that I really need. WrestleMania 2000 for N64 was a really good game. I don't think I ever played that one. You feel really young now. How old are you, Merle? You're like what, 20? I don't know. You're in your like later 20s, right? I don't know exactly how old you are. Yeah, Nikki. Oh man. Yes, Adim. The OG Metal Gear. That's the one. I've told the story many times. Let me jump into this. I've told the story. Whoops, I was already there. I've told the story a lot of times. So back when I was a kid, video game magazines were a really big thing. People always misunderstand me when I say this. I've said it a few times in videos, and I always have older, around my age gamers that will like be like, oh, actually it did exist back then. But like the internet wasn't as accessible as it is now. So like, yeah, you could go into forums and find, information about video games and stuff, but they were really obscure. It was usually like the biggest nerds were in there. And so like, unless you were part of that group, you weren't in those forums. They weren't very popular. And so it's almost like TikTok. They forget that because they were a part of it, they think it was more popular than it was. Like TikTok's insanely popular, don't get me wrong, but there are things that are very common within TikTok that the real world does not consider normal. You know, there are a lot of like politically correct takes on TikTok that the normal world just doesn't even consider yet. And I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, but it's very easy to forget that TikTok is not the whole world. And so it's the same with these forums. So some of these older gamers will be like, oh, they existed and we all knew about it. You and your like 200 friends knew about it, but the other millions of people didn't. And so when you would want to find out about video games, a lot of it was through TV or through magazines. And so you used to buy video game magazines, and I remember we bought one and it had a demo disc for the PlayStation 1. And we had just gotten our PlayStation 1. It had Crash Bandicoot, and I think that was the only game we had. And my brother bought this magazine and it had a free demo disc, and he bought it for the demo disc, not for the magazine itself. Was it for the demo disc? No, I think I had rented Silent Hill and I was in love with it, and then he found the magazine, we both bought it, and it had a little mini walkthrough of Silent Hill in the magazine, and then inside the magazine was a demo disc. The demo disc had Metal Gear 1 in it. That demo was only the beginning part, you know, the part where like at the very top of the game where you swim up in like the dock area, and then you take the elevator up and there's that little snowy entrance to the rest of the place. That was it. It was just the snowy area and that dock area. My brother, I kid you not, played that. My brother and I played that for like 6 hours. We tried every little area of the game. We looked at everything. We would try running through with only putting people to sleep, running through with killing everybody, running through with punching everybody. We did everything that we possibly could in that game. And then my brother got it for his birthday, I want to say. And we played that game like you wouldn't believe. And I just couldn't understand. I let one of my friends borrow it, and he borrowed it for a day and brought it back. And he's like, this is so boring. It is the dumbest game ever. And this is how like in love with the game I was, that when he said to me, this is how skewed I was with my perception of the game. When he said to me, I don't like top-down games, I responded with going, what do you mean top-down games? It's not a top-down game. But it was pretty much a top-down game. But I was just so like immersed in the world that I didn't feel that it was a top-down game. Such a good game. Oh, that game was so good. You're 27. Oh my God, Merle, you're almost 10 years younger than me. Oh, that makes me feel so old. Ah, my birthday is in 10 days. God, I'm going to be 37 in 10 days. Oh, MC, just wait. Trust me, when I was like in my 20s, I thought that I felt old. I'm getting like scarily close to 40 now, and it is shocking how much older you start feeling. But it's a really weird feeling. You're not going to understand this until you're way older, because I'm just starting to feel it now. When I look at myself, I don't think I look old. And unless people are gaslighting me and lying to me, because I don't understand how people are. So I don't know if they're saying it just to be nice or if they're being genuine, but I hear a lot that I look younger than I am. And I look at some of the people around my age and I feel like they look a hell of a lot older than I am. I hate that I have acne, but I feel like that makes me look younger because I have acne, and usually only young people have acne. But where I really start to feel the age is when I don't know slang. I don't understand slang fully. I have moments that I don't understand why younger people find something funny or they find something interesting or exciting, because I'm stuck in my ways. I've talked about this before, like YouTube has gone through a big change since I was younger. When I was younger, it was a lot of fart jokes and politically incorrect stuff, but it was shot very much like a TV show. Whereas like now I find that the editing process is far better than it was back then. But now almost every creator that's like Gen Z and younger throws in loud, unnecessary sounds. And that is the punchline. There's no actual joke being told. It's just like a loud, distorted sound, and that's what's funny, and I don't get it. Or like people will defend artists nowadays. Artists nowadays aren't like artists back in my day. I didn't think artists in my day were like exceptionally talented. But at least most of the artists in my day didn't rely on a computer to pitch correct their voice as severely as they do now. Because now almost anybody is a singer, because a computer can make you sound a hell of a lot better than you really are. And I don't care what producers say. I did audio engineering for a really long time. It's BS when they tell you that if you can't sing, you can't sound good with pitch correction, because you can sound a hell of a lot better with pitch correction. All you need to be able to do is somewhat carry a tune decently, but that doesn't mean you're actually talented as a singer. That's when you start to feel old, when things like that start going into your mind, and you realize that the younger generation just doesn't get it. What the hell's going on with my lighting? And then like I'll occasionally get somebody that'll like make fun of me for being old, but inside I don't feel old. Like I don't feel any different. Like when I'm talking to like a 27, 28-year-old, I don't feel like I'm older than them. But then when I sit down and think about it, I'm like, yeah, like I'm 10 years older than Merle. That's a lot. Like that's a lot. And it's like, it's weird. Because like, let's say if I was like to hit on Merle, in my mind, it would just be like, okay, yeah, we're not really that different. But then it's like, no, I'm 10 years older. I'm like the creepy old guy, but I don't see myself that way. And it's like that's where you start to really feel old, when that start happening. Just wait until you reach your like mid 30s. Enjoy your 20s. Trust me, because you can still get away with being immature and you don't get made fun of for being old and out of touch yet. Just wait. Just wait. Oh my God. No, Merle, there won't be anything. There won't be anything. I'm not, I'm not in a good place for that. I can't talk openly right now. There's little ears in the house, but I'll describe it later. But there's been some pretty big changes here, and I don't really want to celebrate my birthday. Yeah, Merle, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. I feel ancient at 30. Right, Spiritual Moody. It's rough. I started to feel it like almost at mid 30s when I started to feel a little bit older. At 30, I still felt okay, but not great. But once I reached 35, I started to really feel it. Like I really started to feel the age. It hit me hard. Andrew, how you doing? Welcome. I'm still young at heart. Yeah, no, I still feel young at heart. My body, not so much. But I still feel young at heart. I think one of the big things that I'm experiencing right now is I'm starting to look at my age, and having wanted to be an actor for so long, and it was always, well, no, I still have time. No, I still have time. And now I'm reaching kind of that dead zone in the age when it comes to acting, that I'm too young to play the old characters, but I'm too old to play the young characters anymore. And there's not much in my age range anymore. Thankfully, I look younger because of the hair and stuff, but like I'm getting to that point where there's not going to be a lot of work for me unless I do like voiceover work and stuff, which is what I'm more interested in anyway. But like I was watching a musical that I did recently, and one of the characters that when we were doing the show, I was like 23 at the time. That character, the whole idea of it was like it was their last shot, and they're so old to be auditioning with a bunch of like 20-year-olds, and he was 34. I'm looking at 34 in the rearview mirror now, and I'm just about to restart my acting thing again. So it's like, oh man, that makes you feel really old. That makes you feel like crap. Whew. Oh, Cover, thank you. That's really kind of you. I actually studied theater. That was what I did. I was in pursuit of being a professional actor. It just never worked out, mainly because I tend to struggle a lot with social interactions. And I was also very, very scared to take the risk to be an actor. It's not easy. Whoops. It's not easy to... Did I not? I guess I didn't. It's not easy to put yourself out there all the time. And I was always too scared to do it. And because I struggled with like social interactions, I didn't do very well at like connecting with other directors and agents and stuff. So I kind of flip-flopped, and then my life got in the way and I couldn't pursue it. So now I'm getting back into it, or I'm hoping to get back into it. Yeah, I didn't save it. Dang it. I thought I saved it. Oh, well, I guess not. I was going to show you the video that I was watching, but I didn't save it, I don't think. I don't see it anywhere. Oh, well, that's too bad. But yeah, but thank you for saying that. That's really nice of you. You know what? Embrace that nervousness, that excitement. I've gotten to the point, mind you, I haven't been on stage now since before COVID. And I was in like a really weird place when it came to how I felt about myself. And like my life was, I was just in a weird place. So I got to the point where I wasn't excited anymore when I would go on stage. It was more of like, okay, let's just get this over with. You know, I'd be excited to audition. I'd be excited to like get to the first rehearsal and hear the band for the first time, because I did a lot of musical theater. But then I just kind of never felt that excitement going on stage, or the excitement of hearing the audience clap or taking that final bow. Whereas before, I used to get so excited. Like, I would get butterflies before going on stage. I never got nervous. I was never scared to be on stage, but I was always excited to be on stage, unless it was a show where I knew I was not up to par. I did one musical in particular where, like, I really was not the right character or the right actor for the character. And the whole time I was nervous, but it was because I knew I was terrible at the show. And even among my actor friends, it was a consensus that that was the worst show I ever did. But it was because I was just cast wrong. It was just not a show for me. But embrace that, because that excitement is kind of what keeps you alive when you're on stage. It's what keeps you kind of on your toes. I'm feeling that excitement now, but I've gone through some pretty major changes over the last little while, so I'm excited for it. But yeah, enjoy it. Enjoy it. I wish I would have gone to a better theater school, but I miss all of that. I miss it a lot. I can't wait to get back into it. I really miss it. I make you blush. I sound like your boyfriend. He's around my age. You like the older men, huh? Be careful with us. We break easily. Oh man, we're old and delicate. Okay, be gentle. Oh man. Yeah, I'm you know, like I said, there are parts of me that make me feel old. There are parts of me that make me feel really young. One thing that I think I do have over other guys that are around my age is a lot of the guys my age are still part of the generation that, you know, they still feel like they have to meet a certain standard to be considered an adult, or meet a certain standard to be considered a man. You know, like they have to have a job and they can't play video games and they can't party anymore. Not that I want to party. I'm way over that. But like when I tell them I play video games, they're like, "Oh yeah, me too. I play NFL." And it's like, no, but like I don't like have a couple of beers and play a dumb game with my friends for like 20 minutes. Like I play video games like for hours. And then their face kind of turns and it's like, "Oh, but like, isn't that for kids?" And it's just like, no, man, there's like, it's a hobby. It's the same way that somebody else watches basketball, or somebody else goes and, you know, watches the hockey game, or goes to boxing or whatever. This is my hobby. That's one thing I think I have over guys, a lot of guys my age, is that I'm not scared to kind of do something I enjoy because I'm going to come off as not being manly or mature enough. I'd rather just enjoy my life. I don't really care if you think I'm manly or mature enough. I would rather just have fun, you know? So I think that part makes me feel young, and I like that. I like that. I'm gatekeeping video games. If you don't play real video games, and I'm not talking like Elden Ring, I'm talking like Call of Duty for like 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, then you can't even call yourself a gamer. You can't even do that. Your husband's 53 years old. No worries, cover. Yeah, no worries, cover. I am live on Twitch and YouTube, so you go right ahead. You go right ahead. But yeah, it's so I'm torn. Where I feel old is, like I said, I'm out of touch. There are things that young teenagers will say that I'm like, I don't know what they're talking about, or that's not what it meant when I was younger. Or when, like, obviously, I'm looking at the wrong camera. I've been looking at this camera the whole time, and it's supposed to be this camera. I'm an idiot. See, this is where I feel old. I've been looking at the wrong camera the whole freaking time. Or like when a younger person calls me old. It's a reminder of how I remember looking at guys my age when I was younger. Mind you, in my defense, when I was younger, guys that were in their 30s, they looked like they were like 50 years old now. You know, the age change is very different. If you look at 30-year-olds from like the late 80s, early 90s, they look like what 50-year-olds look like right now. They looked really bad. So in my defense, a 30-year-old did look old. We didn't look similar. Whereas now you can look at a 30-year-old and they do look older than a 25-year-old, but not in such a drastic way, right? Not in such a way that you're just like, there is no way they were even close to the same age. There's a lot of 30-something-year-olds that look like they could be in their late 20s. No worries, we win. No worries. But yeah, I feel old in those moments. But there's a lot of times where I feel like insanely young still. And it's almost like I'm at that point where my life is somewhat well put together, that I feel like now is actually the best time that I'm gonna have when it comes to pursuing my dreams and doing what I enjoy. Because when I was a teenager, Yeah, there was no responsibilities, which is really nice. I could be an idiot, which was really nice. And dating was always fun and exciting, and it won't be so much as an adult, as an older adult. But like, I still had something to prove, right? I still lived at home with mom and dad. And so like, I didn't have full freedom. I still had to prove that I was normal and cool. And I still had to do homework and all that kind of stuff. Then I got into like my mid 20s, and I went to college. Once I finished college, I was trying to like establish my life. Do you know what I mean? Cover, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that. Welcome. Jackster, hello. The giant nun looking things? Uh-oh. Not good. Okay. You know, when I got to my 20s and I finished college, it was very much about establishing my life. At the time, I was very, very adamant that I wanted to be an actor. So a lot of my life was kind of living on a whim, right? Like I was just kind of doing whatever, because I didn't really look to set any roots. But then I started getting to my like mid to late 20s, and the women that I was dating were looking for a guy that was much more settled than I was. And so then that pressure came back of like, I need to figure out how to make my life more settled. You know what I mean? To be taken more seriously. And eventually I would have had to settle no matter what. It would have, you know, I needed a place to live. I needed to have furniture and a car that I could rely on. I couldn't just be a bum living with like an empty apartment and one couch. And then time was spent doing that, so I wasn't really enjoying life despite pursuing my dreams. It was very much there's so much more in the way. Whereas now it's like I've got an apartment that's relatively, it's not the nicest looking apartment. You know, the walls are ugly colors and all that, but like it's a nice sized apartment. I've got a relatively new car. I've got a full-time job. I've got all the furniture and window dressings that I would need. You know, it's not a mattress on the floor anymore. So now that everything's settled and I've got a job that I can work around, I can go and pursue my dreams and not have other stresses in the way. I can just absorb and enjoy following my dreams instead of trying to juggle so many things. So like in that aspect, I'm glad that I'm older, because I'm almost going to appreciate the journey more. Whereas when I was younger, I didn't appreciate the journey as much. Like when I was watching that musical, I was watching myself on stage, and I'm not a dancer. Now more than ever, I'm not a dancer, but I'm not a dancer. I've never been a good dancer. And I thought I was a lot worse than I was. In a way, it was a motivation to get better at it, but at the same time, like I beat myself up way more than I should have, because when I went back and watched, I was like, you know what? Even though I'm not a dancer, that was not bad. Okay. Oh, I can't get him in here. Okay. And so like I missed out on like the joy of everything that I was doing. And now that I'm older, I feel like I'm going to be able to absorb more of that joy. So I'm looking forward to that. Although I'm not looking forward to being the 30-something-year-old auditioning with a bunch of 20-year-olds. That part's not going to be fun. Oh, man. So, Deacon, on YouTube and Twitch, I have a link that people can donate to. And that link, if somebody donates $6.66, it triggers a loud scream in my ears without giving me any warning. It just happens. So, I tend to scream a lot when I get scared. So, it's a way to kind of scare me without me expecting it. It doesn't get used very often, so it's a bit more powerful right now because nobody does it. There was a while there where I was getting jump scared a lot. Like it would be like up to 10 times in a stream. So it almost lost its appeal because there were people that loved how I reacted so much that they would do it over and over and over again. But you know, after like 4 or 5 times, you kind of like, okay, it's still scary, but not like as scary as the first time. Now it's the opposite. Now it never happens, so when it does, it like freaks me right out. Gets out credit card. Oh man. I have not, Cover. I haven't. I was actually talking about this last stream. On the last time we played Elden Ring. Oh, what the hell? Is that the nun thing? Oh god, is this the nun thing you were talking about? I'm not a fan of Harry Potter. I was just slightly too old to be into like the fandom. Go to the little cliff and fall off when I'm not paying attention. Done and done. But yeah, I was a little bit too old. I'm not gonna say like I was ancient. I was just slightly too old to be into the fandom when the games were coming out. I was never much of a reader to begin with, or when the books were coming out. Well, no, I was never much of a reader, so I didn't even know about the books. When the movies came out, I was slightly too old, so I just wasn't interested. And now that I've gone back as an adult to try to watch them, because Alana's a huge fan, I find them really boring. Because I studied acting, I just can't get past the insufferable acting of those kids. Now they're phenomenal actors. I can't even say like, oh, I'm better than them. No, they're way, way better than me. But I just can't stand them in the movies, so I'm just not a fan. So when the game came out with all the controversy and all that crap, no, just avoid it. I don't need to spend my money on that. So I bought Dead Space. Krupus, hello. You need to get over the curved step, watch for rolling ball, stay right mostly. Okay. Yeah, no, I know it wasn't a joke. I just wasn't paying attention, and I just happened to read about the cliff, and I was like, well, I fell off a cliff. Does that count? But I hope you're doing really well. And this is my first time playing Elden Ring. It's not my first time playing a Soulsborne game. I actually used to play Soulsborne games once a week, every week, for the last, like, 5 years. But I want to see what that thing is. Okay, so I see that. Is this the thing that I'm supposed to walk on? Maybe, okay. I just want to grab whatever this thing is. It's probably not worth it, but I'm going to do it anyway. Go, 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 go. Glintstone Firefly. What does that even mean, man? Here we go. Okay. Whoa! What the? Ah! Get away from me! Okay. Whew. Oh man, that's what I love about these games. When you don't know what's happening and then you like get caught by something, I love it. Okay. Is this? Whoa! Is this the first time they actually tell us about multiplayer? Am I so early into the game that multiplayer has just been introduced now, or did I just spend so much time doing other stuff? Oh my god! Thank you, whoever that was. Oh my god. See what I mean? I wasn't expecting it. I was looking at the map to show where I had been. Okay. Okay, Jackster. I pulled a muscle on that one. That was a good one. That was a really good one. Oh my god. So, whew, so that's what the jump scare is. Your neighbors are playing loud music. Oh, I hate that. So, I struggle a lot with auditory things, but it's very particular. I'm not like a lot of other neurodivergent people where like any loud noise bothers them or like any high pitched noise bothers them. I'm very... Uh-oh. Oh, I pushed the wrong one. Okay. That doesn't bother me. It's very like particular types of sounds that bother me, like music. Despite having been a musical theater person and despite having been in a band for 15 years, I can't listen to music all day long. And so having neighbors who listen to music all day long drives me up the wall. Having noises like somebody sniffling constantly drives me up the wall. So certain noises really, really bother me. And loud neighbors is a huge one for me. Because if you were to like listen to how my house is, it is like dead quiet all day long. Mostly because Alana sleeps during the day. But like it's like dead quiet all day long. Even Nora keeps her tablet at a super low quiet volume. I keep my tablet at a volume that's really quiet. The only time I have loud volume is when I'm playing video games because I want the jump scares loud and all that kind of stuff. But like noise bothers me, and neighbors like to be loud. And we just had a neighbor, they've been gone for a few months now, but we had a neighbor upstairs and they were the worst because they would play music all day long, but they wouldn't be home. And she was a complete and utter Karen in every single element of Karen-ness that exists. She would be too lazy to put that she lived in her apartment. She would just put the address of the place. And so they would put her mail in my mailbox. And it would drive me crazy because she would order a lot of packages online and they would fill my mailbox, and then my stuff would just be left out and it would get wet and ruined. So I started taking her mail and putting it on top of her mailbox. And then one day the wind blew it over and into the snow. She not only called to threaten Alana, but then said she would call the police on me for mischief and get me charged for taking her mail and damaging it. Because the mail fell off her mailbox that she is too lazy to go pick up and fell into the snow. And she was going to get me for that. One time it was during a snowstorm. I was out there shoveling the snow and she came with her snowblower and pointed the nozzle of the snowblower towards me so the snow would go all over me while I was shoveling the snow. She talked shit about me while she was out there. And I'm standing there listening to it. So this dumb human being went and decided she would get a second dog because her first dog was too lonely, but then did nothing to train the dog, and the dog would bark all day, every day, at all hours of the day and night. And to shut the dog up, she would just blast music. So there would be her crappy music and her dog barking all day long. And when we would say, hey, like, you know, can you please try to quiet the dog down? She would just turn the music up louder because she figured if she couldn't hear the dog, then we couldn't either. It was a nightmare. And just to show you how much of an evil person she was, it wasn't just because we were her neighbors. She moved here with her husband or whatever. And then she just broke up with him because suddenly she came out that she was lesbian and left for the States and left the dogs here for him to take care of. And he was really nice when she wasn't around. And then she just showed up and told him she was leaving, but he couldn't afford the apartment on his own. And she said, too bad, so sad, your problem. And then left, and it was up to him to empty the apartment, pay the rent for the next couple of months because he needed to give 60 days notice. And she just up and left. And just left him high and dry with his own problems. She took the dogs and just left. That's how much of a scumbag she was. But yeah, she would play music all day long, and I hated it. I hated it so much. All right, Jackster, no worries. I will try my best to remember that. But she was a complete and utter Karen. She called the city because, so this property is really weird. It used to be just the house with a long backyard and, you know, a few 100 feet back. And the family that owned this house originally had adult children. And so what they had done was they turned this house into a duplex. And so the mom and dad lived on one floor. The daughter, I think, lived on the other floor. And then they built a secondary house in the back. Oh crap, this isn't good. Okay. Whew. They built a secondary house in the backyard. Well, they were like partiers, drug users, whatever. They demolished that house in the background. They destroyed it. And so eventually they sold the house. And then a different landlord took it over and started renting this place out. Then my landlord bought it and started renting it out. Well, the house in the back is gutted. It's basically just like a skeleton of a house. And there's a big like swamp back there now because the house, there's no doors or windows or anything. So she called the city to complain about it. Except the house is, God, a good 150 feet back, 200 feet back from our house. So like it's far away enough that it has no effect on us. Like they could still park about 10 cars behind our house and still have a full backyard distance between our house and their house, that house and the backyard and their cars. But she called the city to complain about the abandoned house in the back. The city came and investigated. They didn't find anything. She called like 5 or 6 times until eventually the city had to tell her to stop calling because there was nothing they could do about it. She was crazy. Oh, there's an item at the bottom. Oh, do I want to? Is it a really important item? Or am I gonna regret not getting it? Yeah, cover. She was horrible. Dog, he's barking, jumping all over the couch floor all night. Oh, I hate that, Nikki. I hate that. It's a white item. All right, let me try fighting this guy, and then if and when I die, I'll go back. Oh, of course you healed. Yeah, we did it. A runestone or something? Okay. Well, I mean, I'm sure he's gonna come back if I die, but it's worth a try. Let's do it. But yeah, I just don't like when neighbors are inconsiderate like that. Whoa! Ouch. I'm still alive somehow. Cause like like I said, I'm insanely quiet. And when we first looked at this place, we wanted to be upstairs. We didn't want the downstairs apartment. I'm dead. We wanted the upstairs apartment for that exact reason. I didn't want to have to hear them walking all over up above. I didn't want to have to deal with all the noise. But the landlord said no because we had Nora. And they figured Nora, being a kid, would be running around, jumping around all day long, but she's like the polar opposite. She sits on the couch and just like chills out. She has her moments where she's jumping around, but it's very, very rare. And so he told us that if we wanted the apartment, we'd have to take the downstairs, not the upstairs. So now I'm stuck with like dealing with all that noise. It's really, really frustrating. Right now there's been nobody upstairs. Rent is just so out of control in the city, and my landlords are trying really hard to get as much money as they can out of the apartments. So we moved here, and then within a couple of months, a bunch of students moved in upstairs, and they were really cool. They were fairly quiet. Well, one guy complained about dog poop smell, but there are a lot of foxes and coyotes around here, so they were the ones pooping, but they were blaming our dog. And so that was the only problem we ever had with them. But outside of that, they were fine. They eventually moved out once their lease was up, and in that time, in the 1 year, my landlords raised the rent on the apartment upstairs by almost $500, which is like an insane amount to go up. And then my understanding is they've tried raising it again, another, $300 to $400. I'm dead. So they're having a hard time renting it now because it's been quite a few months. I'm gonna say it's getting close to a year that those people have gone upstairs. because they just can't rent it out. Rent is just way too expensive right now. And we're in Canada, which is one of the more expensive countries in the world when it comes to rent. And they're trying to get as much money out of it as they can. They even tried to like coax me to leave this place. But when I told them that, one, I couldn't afford to find another place anyway, and two, I was happy here, you could see it in his face. He was like, oh, okay. But I'm just like, no, what I'm paying here, I'm not going to get the same size. I'm going to get like a 1-bedroom with what I'm paying here. No, thank you. Okay, he is dead. Hello, Jesse Pickman. How are you? But yeah, and that's it. They're trying to squeeze every penny out of people that they can. And here they removed the rent protection that they used to have. And so my landlord could just like up the rent to whatever he wants. And it's really, really frustrating. And this place is not that nice to pay what he is asking for. It's big. Don't get me wrong. It's really big. What? But it's not worth the fee he wants because he doesn't do any maintenance. My whole back wall, it feels like it was an addition to the house, but the whole back area of the house, it's got that really tacky 1980s wood paneling, you know, that they always had in the basements in the 80s and 90s. It's all that. The whole wall is that. It's not even like the halfway. It's the whole wall. And there is no insulation between that and the brick wall. And so wintertime, it is freezing back there. The insulation is horrendous back there. We have a sunroom, which has like 3 cracked windows, so the cold air just comes right through. And the doors that lead into the sunroom don't actually seal. I've put a bunch of foam in the way to help seal it a little bit, but the one is missing a whole glass pane, so he's just put cardboard in the way. Like, he doesn't actually maintain the place. So if he's going to charge an arm and a leg and it's not painted well and the place is beat up, you can't. You can't do that. Like, I don't even have access to my power panels. Like, I can't turn off the electricity in this place at all. So if I want to like change a light or something, I can't, because it's in the basement and he refuses to give us access to the basement. And so it's just like, dude, I don't want to store anything down there. I just want to be able to, you know, change the filter on my air conditioning system or, you know, turn off the power when I want to change one of the sockets or something, because like I've got a ceiling fan in this room and playing VR in here is horrendous because I always hit the ceiling fan. I would like to just put like one of those nipple light bulb things. At least that way it would be out of the way. Can't do that. No, there's not, Deacon. There's a limit. I'm dead. There's a limit if you, okay, so I've heard a couple of different takes on it. It's either, it's either if you started living at the place before 2018 or if the place got built before 2018. I've heard both. I don't know which one it is. Then they can only go up by 4%. But anything outside of that, they can go up whatever they want. So like my brother's place, his landlord since COVID started has raised his rent by $1,300 from when he first rented the place out. My brother's been living there for like maybe 6 years. $1,300. We're getting like on the brink of doubling the rent price in 6 years because he could just raise it to whatever he wants. And there's nothing my brother can do. Either just move out or just deal with it. It's insane. And it's because our government here is corrupt like you wouldn't believe. So they just allow it. Demio player, hello. Nice to see you. They really are, Preston. They really are. Is this worth it? Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm doing it. Oh, if you go up, you can kill the ball. Really? Huh, maybe I'll do that. That's the part that I hate the most, Weewin, is the installation process. The installation process is... Oh. Mind you, because I stream, it's all the OBS stuff. Where did this... Have I been here before? I don't know if I've been here before. But doing like all the OBS stuff, that was always such a nightmare. And then getting the games to install and just... Oh, I hate it. I hate it. So it's 1,100 plus all the utilities, Preston. Yeah, 2,200 a month. Yeah. Here, a house. Yeah, you're looking at about. I think the last time when we were looking for this place, it was right before the big boom because I'm in Ontario. Right before the big boom, there was a house that we found that was $1,400 for the house, and it was a 2-bedroom house. The basement wasn't finished. It was really, really small, but it had a really big backyard. It was $1,400 a month. The only reason we didn't get it is because the dude was very hippy dippy. He was one of these like very like, no, I want to feel your vibe, man. It just depends on like how you feel. And when he called me, he's like, look, unfortunately, I had one more interview after you. And like, just like his vibe was like just meshing with mine. So like, I'm going to go with him. This was a guy who didn't ask us for like any references, didn't ask us for proof of employment, didn't ask us for our credit score, nothing. He was just going off of how he felt when he met the person. Me with my social issues, obviously I didn't hit the right chords with him. But like, it was like $1,400. But lately, the last time I looked was about 6 months ago. Yeah, we were looking at like $2,500 for like a 2-bedroom house, something like that, which is crazy. And this isn't like a big city. Like if I was looking at like Hamilton or something, we're looking at like $3,000 for a house, easy. Yeah, Preston. So I was looking, and from everything that I saw, 1-bedrooms are going for about 1,400, everything included, for 1-bedrooms. For something closer to like 1,200 a month, you're looking at like a basement bedroom apartment. What the heck? A basement bedroom apartment, you know, in somebody else's private home, and I feel weird living like that, you know. Like this, it feels like 2 very separate apartments. It doesn't feel like I'm living in a house with somebody else. But yeah, $1,400 for like a 1-bedroom. That's why I don't want to leave this place, because it's a 2-bedroom plus a den. Plus I've got two living rooms and the sunroom. So like, you can't compare that to a 1-bedroom basement apartment, right? Yeah, Toronto's probably insane right now. I've been hearing like closer to like $2,400 for a 1-bedroom is what I've been hearing. I don't know though. Is it 2.5 in Ontario? Okay, yeah. You can have your sins forgotten. Huh. Yeah, money inflation is real here too. It's real here too. The thing is, Krupis, the States in general is far less expensive to live in. There's a guy on TikTok right now who actually runs videos. I don't know if he's a real estate agent or what, but he had a whole series where he would take a house in the States, show you what it was, and then look at the same value in Ontario. He was able to find like a mansion in Los Angeles, and it was like 1.5 million. It was something like 3,000 square feet with a pool and like 4 bedrooms, 2 baths. And then he came to Ontario, and it was like 1,000 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. And it was like in town, and it was pretty beat up, and like a really tiny backyard for the same price that you could live in LA with like a relatively comfortable house in like a really nice neighborhood. Now, obviously, the difference is in the States, income is way different than what it is in Canada. Like when I hear about what some people earn in the States, I don't even know how they survive. But it's because our numbers are so inflated. Canada is like insane. Yeah, it's crazy. When my parents in the 90s bought the one house that we had that I was growing up in, they paid like 50,000 for it, 50 or 60,000 for it. When they sold it in like the early 2000s, it went for 120,000. The last time I looked it up, it was over $400,000. This house had no insulation, no central heating. The foundation had split from the actual house, so there was like a gap between the bottom of the house and the actual foundation, so a lot of cold drafts came in through there. It used to be a triplex, and my family converted it to a single home, but to go from like 60,000 to like $400,000 in the span of 15 years, 20 years is an insane amount of inflation. And this is in like one of the worst areas of a fairly large city. Like I grew up in the inner city where like the police were on my street every other weekend. I had multiple friends who did not make it to the age of 25, and that house was worth almost $500,000. Like crazy price. Yeah, Jesse, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, Preston, it's nuts. I mean, the place he lives is really nice. It's a really nice neighborhood. It's a really nice little house. The original price increase, I don't know all the details, but from what I understand, the original price increase was my brother, the landlord, had his son living in the basement. And then the son turned out he was a drug dealer, and the police caught him on a sting. And you know, the police showed up at like 3 or 4 in the morning, banging on the doors. My niece and nephew and everybody had to like be out on the street for multiple hours while they searched the house. Even though they were separate apartments, it was within the house. And so they had to like search the house and all this, and they had to go like stay at a hotel or something for the night. And so the son got arrested. And so my brother basically said, like, I don't want him living here. I have kids. Imagine if he would have like even tried to fight them, and then the police get into a gunfight with this guy, and my kids are in this house. So the landlord agreed. So my brother took over the whole house. So he initially did the big raise in rent because he now went from having a 2-income house to just a single family in there. But then after that, he just kept raising the rent. It's an insane amount how much it's gone up. Like it's very clear that it's just greed. It has nothing to do with inflation. It's just greed. It's a Galen West. And if y'all are American and don't know what's been going on in Canada, so our housing market is one of the most expensive in the world. If not the most expensive. I want to say it's like within the top 3. But our food market is in an insane bubble right now, where our food market is run by 3 major companies. They run all of our grocery stores, and they have basically been doing everything they can to just jack the prices right up. To the point where like something that like we get these big jugs of ice cream, and they used to be like $2.99 for the big jug, and now they're up to $7 for the same jug in the last year. That's how much it's gone up. You know, chicken used to be like $10 for, you know, 9 or 10 chicken breasts. Now it's like $35 for the same amount. It's gone up a lot. They're being investigated, or they've been questioned about it, because they've had like the highest profit margins that they've ever had in history, while the prices are as high as they've ever been. And their excuse is, well, no, all of inflation is causing our prices to go up, except if it was inflation, their profits would be the same, but their profits are just as high as what inflation has got, like what they've inflated their prices to. So they're trying to deny it, saying it's not going on. But just recently, the head of one of these conglomerates just received a $10 million raise a year. Before COVID, his whole income was $1 million. Now he's gotten a $10 million raise. And they're not price gouging everybody. This is how Canada is right now. They're like, the big companies are just devouring the regular people. It's disgusting here. It's disgusting here. So landlords are doing the exact same thing. They're doing whatever it takes to get as much money out of their tenants as possible. Mind you, a lot of landlords are now starting to run into trouble because they can't rent the places out. And now they're paying the mortgage out of their own pocket, and they're starting to flop on the houses. So we're probably going to see a housing crash at some point, but who knows when. Yeah, we're talking about how bad it's gotten in Canada. How insane it's gotten here. Yeah, Preston, it's bad. It's really bad. It's scary. Before COVID, we used to spend about $150 to $200 every 2 weeks on groceries, and now we've gotten to the point where it's like $400 bi-weekly, easily. It's sickening. It makes it very, very hard to even stay above water. Hold on. Now I don't know where I was. Where the hell was the place that I was just exploring? I shouldn't have gone through the portal. There's no portal back, is there? Oh, man. Yeah, it's going to burst eventually. It's just to see how long it's going to take for it to burst. Because housing prices have already dropped, but rent prices haven't. Landlords are just not letting go. Okay, Raya Lucaria, where the hell is that? The middle of the lake, so in here. Was this the one? It was, or was it a little bit further down? Let's see. Let's see. Never, Merle. I'm never lost. I always know where I am at all times. Every time. Jeez, bro, shut up. Nobody needs to know how stupid I am. Man, was it this one then? I don't know where it was. I don't know which one it was out of all of them. The debate parlor? Okay. 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 Okay, here we go. Should go do the quest for prawn meat. Oh, I could have some prawns right now. But yeah, it's insane, the prices of everything. I'm really upset that my car broke down the way it did. If you don't know the whole story, I had a Kia Soul, the engine blew on it. Kia made me run around to try to get them to fix the car. I basically had to give up my job because I needed my car for my job, and they refused to even give me a loaner car. Don't ever buy from Kia, especially Cardinal Kia in Niagara Falls. Do not ever buy from them. They are a trash company. Anyways, I ended up buying like a cash junker car with the idea of like, I'll drive it for a year. You know, I won't have a monthly payment on it. So at least with it being a junker car with no monthly payment, I can save up, and then I'll put a down payment on a decent car when the prices go down a bit, and I'll buy myself a more reliable car in a couple of years. And then the junker car broke a few months later, and it was going to cost me about half of what the car cost just to get it back on the road. So I didn't do that. So I was forced to buy another car. And so at that point I was like, you know what? I'm not going to cough up another $5,000 to have another car break down in 3 or 4 months. I'll bite the bullet and I'll buy a decent car. So I bought a 2019 Civic, because Civics go forever. And I bought it, and then like 2 months later, the first reports came out that car prices were dropping. And now I've had the car for about 4 months, and the prices have like plummeted on used cars. The car that I bought, I could have bought for probably $8,000 less than what I paid for it. But at the time, there was no choice. I had to buy the car. Oh, I hate this whole inflation thing. I hate it. This stream is too much fun. Laughing at my stupidity. I know. I'm so entertaining. My dumminess is entertaining. Krupus, I was on the right path before, like when I first teleported, or before when I was going up by the pot things that I was at. Aww. Yeah, Preston. Yeah. Mind you, it's a decent car. I got the EX model, which is like the step down from the Touring. If you don't know about the model brands or whatever, Hondas, at least Civics, they have the EL, the Sport, the EX, the Touring, and then the Type R, I think, is the last one. So like the Type R is like the full-blown like sports one, right? Leather interior, all the fancy bells and whistles, but it's got the really powerful engine. It's usually a two-door. The Coupe is more of like the basic car, but with the two-door, a bit sportier. The EL is like the base model with like all the basic stuff in it. The EX has all the fancy stuff in it except for the leather interior, the subwoofer. I think the navigation is built in on that car. And fog lights, I think, is the other big thing. Oh, and then it has the nicer engine. So I've got the EX. So basically, I've got all the fancy stuff. I've got the upgraded stereo, but no subwoofer. I don't have fog lights and no leather interior. And I got the base engine. I didn't get the turbo engine, but I heard that there's problems with the turbo engine anyway. But it's pretty much one step down from the top end fancy one. So even then, it was still a relatively expensive car. Anyway, thankfully, I can afford it. But yeah, I could have saved some money. That would have really sucked. That would have really sucked. And yeah, I'm not a big fan of leather. I do like leather because the heated seats work better in leather. And at least in my opinion, they do. And I don't mind. I like them because they're easy to clean. But like you said, they get way too hot in the summer. They're way too cold and stiff in the winter. And they can be slippery. depending on like what kind of leather they use. I remember when I was selling cars, there was an Audi, what is it, TR? Audi TT? Was it a TT? I don't know. One of the little sports ones that they had, a little coupe one. We had one of those. It was really, really nice. And it was all customized colors and stuff that the guy had paid for. It was like a bright orange interior, black and orange. The outside was black. And I got into it because I had to put gas in it because somebody wanted to take it for a test drive. And I hated every second of it because the way that the seat was scooped and the leather they had used, the guy had been like, you know, maintaining the leather so it was shiny, but it was really slippery. And obviously when I was driving the car, I was dressed somewhat businessy, so I'm wearing dress pants and stuff. I was sliding around all over that like it was an ice rink. So I'm not a big fan of leather. I prefer the not leather. The only thing I wish that this car would have had, that it technically should have, but for some reason this model didn't, it's a really weird one-off, is the fog lights and the rims. Apparently a lot of the EXs come with fog lights, mine doesn't. And I've got the fancy alloy rims, but there's a different style of alloy rims that usually come with the car. And I don't have those. I have the more basic alloy rims. That's the only thing that I wish I would have had differently. But I love my car. I really love my car. Talk to the guy in the shack? Which shack? Did I talk to a guy in a shack? I don't remember. Dachshund Cider, hello. Dixon Cider. Dixon Cider, hello. Welcome. Thank you for the follow. Just a Honda Civic. It's just a Honda Civic. I wanted something that was reliable. I didn't really go for like the... I'm not a big car guy. I sold cars, but I wasn't a big... cars don't excite me. I'm not one of those people that like... You know, looks at, my brother on the other hand is one of those people that looks at like the latest car and looks how like powerful it is and how cool the engine sounds. I just want a car that I can drive forever and that looks half decent. I actually like the 2019, the 2012 to 2019, that model style. I don't really like the new ones. I don't like the new Honda Civics too much. They look too much like the Accord of the 2019 era. I don't like the new Civics. I like the Civic I got. It's just got a bit more of that like sharp, techie look, I guess I could say. Demio player, thank you for that follow. I appreciate that. I have not. Tsuku, thank you so much for that follow. I appreciate that. It's for buff food. Read the first message above. Yeah, which shack though, Deacon? I don't remember talking to a guy in a shack. Oh wait, I died a bunch of times. Did I lose it? I lost my 19,000 runes. Oh, I didn't level up. I was too busy talking and I lost the 19,000 runes. That is disappointing. But yeah, I don't care about the leather. I think the car is okay. I've got the base engine in it, so it's not very powerful. Whoa. But it's insanely fuel efficient. I was blown away because, like I said, I was driving a Kia Soul, right? Not the most aerodynamic car ever. I got it because, you know, there's Nora and Alana and we wanted a vehicle that would be big enough that we could lug things around if we needed to, but that was still small enough that I could zip around town. Because I was working out of the community and I had to park on the street a lot. So I wanted something that I could park pretty much anywhere. And a Kia Soul is relatively small. So we went with that. And then when that died, I'll never buy another Kia again. When that died, I got a Lancer. And I really liked the Lancer, but the clutch's slave piston, something like that, it burst, and so I needed to replace it. But to replace that, I had to replace like the flywheel and a bunch of other stuff. That's why it added up so much. But even that one, it was stick shift. I always love stick shift. My Civic isn't. And so I wanted. Wait, is this a shortcut to something? So I got the Lancer, and it was more fuel efficient than the Kia Soul was, but not by much. And then I got the Civic, and the Civic is like a stupid level of fuel efficient versus the Kia and versus the Lancer. The Kia Soul, I was filling up once a week, once every 6 days, because I drive a lot. And then the Lancer was getting closer to like every 7 days. Maybe I could get to 8 days. The Civic, I'm getting almost 2 full weeks without having to fill up. It's stupidly fuel efficient, so I'm happy with the Civic. I really like my Civic. I need 800,000 per level. I do have some in my inventory. I do. I'm just sad of the ones that I had picked up that I just lost. Where's the shortcut to this place? Kay, hello, welcome. How you been? I know and I always forget to pick them up. I always do. Whoa, what the hell is this place? I don't think I've been here. Uh-oh. This is, so people always ask me why I don't get help and I end up spending time wandering. This is why. I read it just as it happened, so it's not like you spoiled it. But I don't like when people are like, oh, you're about to face a boss. Because it ruins the excitement. That is really unsettling. But like, I just walked into this room and wasn't expecting a boss fight, and now it's a boss fight. So like, that is what I really like. That's why I like going in blind, even if I'm lost for most of it. Oh, this is really uncomfortable.
Hush, little Culver.
What the heck is going on?
I'll soon birth thee anew, a sweeting, fresh and pure.
Reaper's Trident, thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I appreciate everybody who's hanging out. Uh-oh. Oh, God. I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing. This doesn't look good. It doesn't look like it's going to be a simple fight. I have a feeling I have to... Yeah, I'm going to have to do something interesting to get to attack the... What? Don't tell me what to do. I want to try to figure it out. Don't tell me what to do. I want to try to figure it out. Thank you for everybody who's following, by the way. If you are on TikTok, I am live on Twitch and YouTube. So if you use either of those platforms and would rather watch on there, you can. Anybody on Twitch and YouTube, I am live on TikTok as well. So if you use that, you can feel free to follow me there. I'm very consistent on TikTok. I'm not as consistent on YouTube. And then with streaming, I stream a few times a week. So I'm not super consistent with streaming either. No worries, Deacon. No worries. But yeah, I probably do drive a lot more than you, Ewan. I drive a lot. Like it's not as much as I used to. Now I travel for work to a couple of different locations. It's about a 15-minute drive out and 15-minute drive back, so about a half an hour's drive a day. But before that, when I was working out in the community in healthcare, I was filling up my gas tank every 3 days. Not the Civic. I didn't actually do the Civic at that point. I was doing the Kia Soul at that point. I was filling up my gas tank every 3 days. Oil changes. So oil changes, you know, you got to do roughly every... It depends on who you speak to, but according to everything that I've read, especially with like the Kia Soul, it's supposed to be around every 6 months or, you know, under 10,000 kilometers. And I was doing an oil change every 7 weeks. 7 weeks I was going and having to do an oil change every time because I was just driving so much. My car was just 2 years old and I was already at just about 100,000 kilometers when it broke down in 2 years. So I was driving a lot, and about 70,000 of those kilometers were put on in the span of a year because I was just driving so much for work. Now, on the other hand, the timer ran out before my oil distance ran out. Like on the Civic, it doesn't tell me kilometers anymore. It just tells me percentage. And on the little sticker they give me, it just says, you know, at 15%, bring it in. I was still at 30% oil life, but I was on the month that I needed to change it. So I ran out the time because I drive so much less than I used to. But I used to drive so much. Like so much. You do it once a year, yeah. Here, because I'm still under warranty, I have to do it within the time that they give me. If I wasn't under warranty, I probably wouldn't have worried about it too much. But because I bought an extended warranty on the Civic, because of everything that happened with the Kia Soul, I know Civics last forever, but I'd rather safe than sorry. So I bought the extended warranty, and I I don't want to lose that. So I'm doing the oil changes on time the way they ask, just to stay on top of it. But yeah, I was driving a lot back then. Like a lot. I still drive quite a bit, but not bad. You know, 15 minutes to get out to work, 15 minutes back. Not too bad. Mind you, I have to drive between different locations, so that probably adds another half an hour to my driving a day. So it's still not too bad. But I'm trying really hard to take care of the Civic. The only thing is I have to clean the inside. I haven't cleaned it all winter. I washed the outside yesterday, so I'm very proud of that. My car's all shiny now. All right, here we go. Stop throwing books at me. Ow. Okay, so it's the singing ones. It's the singing ones. I knew that there was going to be like a specific one I would have had to beat up. I just couldn't know which one, but it's the singing one. Okay. Oh! Uh-oh. Uh-oh, I shouldn't have let the blue run out. I could have killed her. So I'm confused. Maybe I'm just being naive, but like, I keep getting people that come into the stream and tell me that I'm very underpowered for everything I'm doing. But I feel like I'm really overpowered. Like, look how much health I took off her on her first round. I feel like that's not underpowered at all. Am I just being naive? Or does everybody else play the game much more powered than I usually do? Because normally it takes hundreds of hits for me to get a boss killed in any Soulsborne game. Like, this is it. Smack the prego. It's gonna get me arrested. It's gonna get me arrested.
My beloved.
Just a second, Deacon.
Have no fear. I will hold thee. Patience. Ye will be countless born forever and ever. Upon my name is Rani the Witch. Mother's rich limber shall not be disturbed by thee. Foul trespasser.
Uh-oh. I guess I wasn't done.
Send word far and wide.
Maybe I wasn't done. We'll find out.
Of the last queen of Caria, Renala of the full moon.
Okay, that was badass.
And the majesty of the night she conjureth.
Oh, that was hot. That was hot. Oh, this isn't good. Okay. Whoa! So, a Deacon, when I learned about like oil changes and stuff, it was years ago. So cars have changed a lot in the last little while, so I may not be accurate on this. My understanding is the percentage is new. It wasn't ever really used until relatively recently. The reason they did the months and the kilometers is that the kilometers would tell the car roughly how much the engine was being used. Now, I don't know if every car did this, but I swear to God, my Kia Soul would actually like measure when it came to like the fuel usage, and even like the oil kilometers, because when they would do the reset, it wouldn't give me a percentage, it would give me kilometers, like how many kilometers are left before the oil change is needed. And it used to actually like count down while I was just idling. The kilometers on the car itself wouldn't go up, but the counter would go down. So yes, the percentage would do that. It would count when you're just idling and sitting there. The reason they do the months, the time, is because the oil eventually does get like dirty. It does not run as well. The viscosity changes over time just by it sitting in the car. So even if you don't use the car, let's say you just leave the car in your garage sitting there for 6 months, that oil is no longer good for the engine to run on. So they want you to change it out so you can get fresh oil put in to help it continue. So that's why the months are important. The kilometer measurement is just to give the person an idea of when they should be changing it based on usage. But yeah, the newer cars have the percentage, which is far, far more accurate, but they still go based on time because they don't want that oil sitting in your engine for so long. Again, this was years ago that I learned this, so it may have changed by now, but that's what it used to be. Mind you, this was back when it was like only 3 months and 6,000 kilometers versus 6 months and 10,000 now. But yeah, so that's why there's a month there, and that's why I have to ignore the percentage and go straight for the month, because they need to make sure that the oil is up to date whether or not the time has come. Also, the oil filter breaks down over time. And so with it just sitting there, the oil filter is no longer working because now the oil isn't being filtered as it goes through it, something like that. But yeah, the percentage is a much better dictator of that. And you would, when you're not on warranty, you would just go on percentage. I would never really worry about the 6 months or whatever. But because I'm on extended warranty, companies like this, Honda, mind you, I have never had such good treatment as I've had with Honda when it comes to my car maintenance and the way that they are with me. Kia was a joke how they treated me, but they find any excuse not to fix your car if something goes wrong. So if I do what I'm supposed to do, then they can't fight me, and that's what happened with Kia. Basically, if you don't know this, a lot of people got mad at me in the video that I made. A lot of people got mad at me saying that I was just unlucky that there are lemons in every group, except they don't work at Kia and they don't see the things that I've seen, and they don't see the things that my company has seen. Because we go in and do maintenance at a Hyundai, it's not a Kia, and the amount of engine replacements that they have going at all times is insane. When my car broke down, I called the one Kia to see if they would replace it. They told me there were 25 cars on the list getting an engine replacement, so it was going to be about 6 months before I got my car in. 25 engine replacements. That's not normal for 25 cars to be on a list to get their engines replaced at one place. So what's happening is the Kia Souls, something about the rings that go around the pistons, when they were heat treated, they weren't treated properly, and so they allow some oil to leak through. And so the sensors aren't measuring that when it comes to when you're supposed to get your oil changed. And so what happens is if you do run it to the 10,000 kilometers, the oil is now dried out, so the engine seizes up. But the engine seizes up because it's burning oil, and Kia just gets away with going, no, some burning oil is okay, except it's burning oil at an excessive rate. I mean, it can burn all of the oil away under 10,000 kilometers, which is only like 20-year-old cars are doing that. So when that all happened with my car, I called them. The one Kia took my car. They wouldn't give me a loaner. They wouldn't give me a rental. They wouldn't give me anything. And then they were fighting me, saying that it was my fault that the car had the engine seize on it. And then what happened was I did all of my oil changes at Kia, every single one, except for the last two. The last two I didn't do at Kia. One, because I was like, you know what, it's the end of the warranty. Nothing's happened, so I'm not going to go to Kia anymore. I'm just going to go somewhere else. And two, Kia had ripped me off multiple times. The one time I went in for an oil change and I tried to use, it had a little lighter thing in the back and it wasn't working. And so I knew it was just a dead fuse. And so I was like, hey, can you just ask the mechanic what fuse I need to change so I can change the fuse on it. I can't read the diagram. It doesn't tell me which one the back one is. And I don't want to spend the whole day unplugging and plugging in fuses to see which one it is. And then they came back and they're like, okay, $75 for the fuse. $75 for 30 seconds of work? Are you effing kidding me? I didn't ask him to do that. I just wanted to know which one it was. I was going to do the work. So they did that. Another time, the car had been giving me engine problems from the start, and it would shut off randomly when I turned on the air conditioner. And I took it in a couple of times for that. They couldn't find anything. And then one time I recorded it and showed me sitting in the car, turning on the air conditioner and the car shutting off. They fought with me, telling me it was the start to stop or stop to start, whatever that thing is called. If you don't know what that is, in newer cars, a lot of them are now having it where like if you hold the brake while the car is in drive, the car will shut off and just run off the battery, and then it'll turn back on when you're ready to go again to help preserve some gas. The Kia Soul has that. They were telling me that that's what it was. I was arguing with them. The car was in park, and I was just sitting there, not pressing the brake. I was just sitting there, and the car would shut off. They're like, no, it's a start to stop. I'm like, no, I would have to turn the key to turn the car back on. They're like, you just don't know how to start to stop. Guys, I'm not an idiot. The car has something wrong with it, so I videotaped it shutting off. They saw the videotape, and then they said, they don't know what that is. There's nothing they can do about it. This is how they treated me. So when the car finally seized up, with all the evidence that I had, I showed them the receipts for the other oil changes. They made me wait around for a few weeks, and then eventually they replaced the engine. But at that point, I had to quit my job. I started working where I'm working now, and you know, they had screwed me already. And then I put out a bad review, and then I made a video on TikTok that got a few 100,000 views. And then I got an email from the general manager of the place telling me, he called me like multiple times early in the morning, and then he sent me an email. I finally called him back. He's like, how can we help you? I'm like, you can't. Oh no, I emailed him back because he's like, you know, tell us what we can do to make this better, and we want to try to, you know, make sure that you're happy at the end of this. I'm like, okay, get me my job back, get me the money that I wasted on a car back, get me the time that I wasted trying to find a car, and you know, replace all the headache. Maybe $15,000-$20,000 would help. He's like, unfortunately, we can't do it. I'm like, exactly. Like, exactly. You can't treat your customer well. If you would have just given me a rental, I would have been happy. Just give me a rental so I have a car to work with, and I would have been fine waiting 6-7 months for the car. I don't mind. But you won't even give me a car to drive, and then you're going to try to tell me that you want to make things better after I lost my job, after I already went through all this headache? No, thank you. And then they kept calling me. For the last like 6 months, they've called me about getting oil changes and brake done. Like, guys, I got rid of my car. Stop calling me. I don't have it anymore. Like, the second they handed me the keys, I sold it. I literally brought it home, took pictures, and put it on the internet, and some guy came and bought it that same day because it had a brand new engine put into it. So he took it, he got rid of it and whatever. But like, holy crap, I will never deal with Kia again, ever. Honda, on the other hand, it has a splash guard at the bottom, like a skid guard. And with the snowstorm, I got caught in the snow and it bent the skid guard. And I went and asked the guy, and I was like, hey, can you just ask your mechanic what it would cost to get that replaced? I'm like, and if not, like, maybe he could just kind of, because I can't get under the car because it's so low, maybe he could just kind of like just hammer it out of the way so I'm not scraping every time I hit like a little pothole or something. And he comes back, he's like, he just removed it. He's like, it's going to be like $600 to replace. No other car really has it. He just got rid of it. I'm like, is it going to cost extra? He's like, no, he just got rid of it. It's fine. Man, you guys are so much better here. You guys are so much better at Honda. They're so much nicer. They gave me free beer when I bought the car. Kia gave me nothing, and the guy who sold it to me was a buddy of mine. I worked with him when we were selling cars together, and they gave me nothing. Oh, he gave me a $10 dash cam, a really cheap, crappy dash cam, and he did that on his own. He didn't do that as like part of the sale. Whereas like when I bought the Honda, when I went to pick it up, I wasn't expecting anything, and the guy walked me around the car, and then he's like, come into the back, and then he brought me into his little room, his office or whatever. He's like, here you go. He gave me a cooler with like a 6-pack of beer, and it was like a nice little portable cooler. He's like, here, you can, it's on me. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, as a thank you for buying the car. I was like, holy crap. It's like, geez, such nice like treatment versus Kia. I will never, ever buy a Kia, ever again. Do I like cheese? I do. I do like cheese. Oh, cheese in the game. I thought you meant like cheese, like, you know, Swiss or cheddar or Gouda. If we're talking that kind of cheese, yes. If we're talking about game cheese, no. No. Not that I think anything badly about people who cheese in games. I just know me, and then I cheese my way through it, and then I kick myself for it. It's what happened on Minecraft, and it's happening right now to me on Minecraft, and it's kind of a bummer. In Minecraft, there was a cheese for a while there where you could smelt something and if it was in the third, if you were holding something, okay, so like if you smelted like iron, and you, this isn't good, okay. If you smelt iron, and you pull it out of the smelter, you would get experience for it. But there was a weird glitch where like if you would take that iron, or if you were holding something that could be smelted like iron, gold, and you put it in your third inventory slot and you picked it up and put it down again, it would give you the XP you were supposed to get from the smelter while you were on the smelter. So you would smelt a bunch of like gold, let's say, and it would all be there ready for you to pick up like a stack. Then you would put another stack of gold in your third slot and you would just start picking it up and dropping it off. You would get the full experience of the full stack of gold being smelted over and over and over again. When I found that out, I spent like 2 hours just like gaining experience and enchanting everything. And then I felt really bad because I had everything enchanted in a couple of hours. That would have taken me days to do normally. And now I'm facing the same thing. Now this one isn't really cheese. It's just a farm that like is way overpowered. I built a little villager area so I could have a bunch of like librarians so I can get all the enchanted books that I want. I spent hours making sure they had the right books and all that. And then wait, this isn't the place I wanted to go to, is it? And then because I had so many villagers, they started producing iron golems. And so I spent the whole day yesterday and the day before building an iron farm. And it's not a super efficient iron farm, but you know, I've got something like 12 stacks of iron now. So I have no reason to go looking for iron. And so now I'm kind of kicking myself in the butt because it's not really cheese, but it's just made my life a little bit too easy. So that's why I don't like cheese. Sorry, I went on a big tangent. That's why I don't like cheese, because I tend to use it and then I beat myself up for it afterwards. Where do I get this sword? Okay, so, haha, I can actually tell somebody something. Yours truly, if you come down here, where is it? It's over here, right? Yeah, this thing, this right here. So first you have to go into this forest and you could talk to like a half wolf guy. Well, no, first, scratch that, start again. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, or because I'm probably wrong. There is a church. Is this a church? In here at nighttime, you can talk to like this magic person and they're going to tell you about some wolf guy. Then you come in here and you can find the wolf guy and you talk to him and then you can summon him. Then in here, you can fight an optional boss and you can summon that wolf guy to help you if you need it. I don't know if you need to do the wolf stuff to get to this, but you go in here and you fight the guy, and if you beat him, then you get this knife as a reward. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty overpowered. It's awesome. No problem. No problem, yours truly. So, Demio. I'm not going to be as bitter with my answer as I normally am, but it's usually not seen as very good etiquette to demand that the streamer starts playing the game when they're chatting. Most streams, it's about having that interaction with the streamer and the person chatting. My big concentration on the stream is me talking. I'm not like a super awesome gamer, and so like chatting is kind of my strength. Ouch. So it's usually not seen as very chill to be demanding that a streamer just plays and shuts up. You didn't say it rudely, so don't worry. There's just some people that get like really upset when I'm talking. You know, because in my mind and in a lot of streamers' minds, if you want to watch just straight gameplay, there's a lot of like YouTube videos out there that's what it is. The main draw to watching a live stream is being able to chat with the streamer and listening to them kind of talk. That being said, if it does bother you that I talk a lot, I don't know if the stream will be very enjoyable for you, because I do talk a lot. There have been streams where I stream for 2 hours and like an hour and a half of it are literally just me talking and not moving in the game at all. Sometimes it can be really hard to find funny clips because I'm literally just talking the whole time and the stream doesn't move forward. But it's just kind of how I've shaped my stream. I've tried to like aim it to be like we're all hanging out at my house, sitting on the couch, just chatting. versus it being like an exciting gameplay style stream. Does that make sense? I don't know. Boob fanatic. I don't know. I haven't beaten the first one. I played through a decent chunk of it, and then it was right around the time I stopped streaming. So I stopped playing it, and I just kind of never went back. I want to say that I had it because of Game Pass, and I don't have Game Pass anymore, so I've never gone back to it. So I don't know if I want to play the second one if I haven't beaten the first one. That being said, I really liked the first one. I'm a stickler for stories. I like games when it comes to storylines, and if I don't know what's going on, I have a harder time enjoying it. And I also don't want to have, because usually the second story will like spoil stuff from the first story, so I'd rather not play the second until I play the first, so I can experience it properly. But oh man, the new Jedi game looks really good. Really, Weewin? That's awesome. I'm so mad that when I bought all my hardware, none of it came with free games. None of it did, although it probably in part due to like karma, because I bought a video card and I got a free game with it, and then I couldn't afford to keep the video card. Something came up and I had to buy something, so I couldn't keep the video card. So I returned the video card, but I got to keep the free game. But now everything that I bought, I haven't gotten anything free. Like I've bought 2 video cards, a CPU, and a motherboard, and no free games, no free games at all. Okay, jump and hard swing. Okay. Don't just jump randomly. Ow! Ow! What? Yeah, they are, Preston. And AK, yes. But that's not what really makes it hard for me to concentrate. I have ADHD. That makes it hard for me to concentrate. But yes, I am also on the spectrum. And so that doesn't really make it hard to concentrate. That just makes it hard for me to deviate from what I'm doing in that moment. So it's not so much that I have a hard time concentrating on the game. It's just that my ADHD makes me get distracted in telling a story. And then my ASD makes it very hard for me to not finish what I'm saying once I've started saying it. So it's like a double-edged whammy. Because like if it was just full-blown ADHD, I could easily just be like talking and then get distracted back into playing the game. Whereas like the ASD thing makes me, once I start, I have to finish. I can't just stop. And because, yeah, I think I remember you saying that, Deacon. I want to say I remember you saying that. So I was saying, you gotta go, squirrel! Did you know that squirrels are actually, and then I have to go like on a whole tangent about squirrels. That's awesome, Deacon. That's I'm sure, well, I don't know how it was for you as a kid, but for a lot of kids, when they're part of that, they feel almost ashamed or embarrassed of it. Like, you know, something's wrong with me, so they're running a bunch of tests. Now as an adult, I hope, and I hope you didn't feel that, but if you did, now as an adult, I hope you realize how important that was and how you helped lead the way for it to be seen as an actual hindrance, not just an excuse for an annoying kid. I didn't have that problem as a kid. I have the type of ADHD that's all in my head. It's not a physical ADHD. I was never the kind that bounced off the walls and was like super hyperactive. I was the type of ADHD that like my brain was just on the go all the time. And so I talked a lot. I was very, very good at things that I put my mind to. I was always that type of person that if I was really interested in something, I would learn everything about it. And like things would stick to my brain because I would think about it all the time. And I would always be analyzing and stuff like that. And so like I'm the kind of person that like, okay, when I learned photography, the reason that my lighting and everything is so good is because I spent hours upon hours upon hours just watching videos, and they'd be videos of the exact same thing over and over again. just by different people, wording it in different ways so I could try to absorb every single aspect of it. So it'd be like, okay, how does, you know, the bokeh effect work? And then I would watch every video I could about bokeh and to understand how it worked and what it meant and why it did what it did. Same with focal length. Like, that's how I would fixate. And so that's where my ADHD was. So nobody really caught on that I had it because I wasn't bouncing off the walls like you stereotypically would expect. But my brain never stopped. And so the hard part for me was that I would come off as lazy and that I only got away with things because I was smart. So like in school, I never did homework. But I always did really well in tests and really well in class because I was smart. But the ADHD made it really hard for me to sit down and do homework. Or like I was saying earlier, I'm really bad at reading. And it's not that I'm a bad reader. It's that I start reading and I don't pay attention to what I'm reading. I get to the bottom of the page and I don't remember what I just read. So I have to start again. Or I'll read the same paragraph over and over again because halfway through the paragraph, I stop paying attention and I don't know what I'm reading. Or I'll get to like, I'll finish the page, I'll get to the next page, and they'll be like, and then Bobby said, I'm like, who the hell's Bobby? And I got to go back and start reading again because Bobby was introduced in the last page. So that's where my ADHD really screws with me. But the tests you went through are what made it clear that that is something that I'm dealing with and that it wasn't just me being lazy or being too dumb to pay attention. So I hope you realize how much help you brought to the world by going through all that, even though I'm sure it wasn't easy as a kid to go through that. Yeah, my brother was very hyper. We knew he had ADHD. He was very obvious ADHD because he was stereotypical ADHD. He still is very stereotypical. He's very energetic all the time. He's always bouncing off the walls. He can't sit still. When we're working together, if his headphones die or he forgets his phone, it's not weird to hear him just singing by himself as he's walking through the aisles, because he can't focus. He's got to do something to keep himself entertained. I, on the other hand, am incredibly quiet. I don't need that kind of focus, but I cannot sit still in my mind. That's one thing Alana hated about me, is that we would watch movies together and she would get really frustrated with me because I would pull out my phone every time we were watching a movie. And she would see it as in I was bored and wasn't interested in watching the movie. But for me, it was, I know who that actor is. Why do I know them? Where do I know them from? Or, wow, that actor's really talented. What other things have they been in? I want to watch them in that. And so I'd spend, I wasn't paying attention. See? I'd spend the whole time Googling actors or Googling, like, they might say something in the movie and I'm like, is that real? And then I would Google that. So that's where I can't sit still. Or on stream, I can't shut up. But now that I'm being treated with the ADHD meds and they've been helping, the ASD is really shining. And so there's stuff about me that I now realize is more that is more ASD related, because like I just made a video about it recently where like people get really mad at me when perfect example. I don't know if you were here at the very beginning when that troll came through and was like saying that I'm discounting my viewership is like disparaging to my viewers, and that I should appreciate all my viewers even if it's one or two, and that it's a bad look. This is a perfect example. I just made a video talking about this. That I didn't get upset with this person because I couldn't be wrong. Like I needed to be right in what I was saying. It wasn't that, or that I was upset that I looked bad, because that wasn't it. I was upset because he was attacking something that I wasn't saying. He wasn't being accurate in what he was attacking. Because he was acting like I had said, I don't have enough viewers, and so I don't want to do the work because I don't have any viewers anyway. Whereas like the more accurate argument was, I can put in a bunch of effort or put in no effort and I'm going to get the same result. So I'm not motivated to put in the more work because the viewership is going to be the same no matter what. Not that the viewership is the issue, it's the work isn't justified. And so I get frustrated because it's like, I'm not trying to prove that I'm right. I'm just trying to correct that you're arguing about something that's not what I was saying. And so you're being inaccurate, and that bothers me. And that's like a whole ASD thing. It's the same thing that Alana struggled with me a lot. She would say that I would talk to her like she was stupid. And it's not that I think that she's dumb. It's that sometimes she would say something, or I would tell her something, she would reiterate it, but she would reiterate it in a way that concentrated a little bit more on something else. And I was trying to highlight a different part of what I had just said. So I would clarify, but she would see it as in like, no, you're too stupid. This is what I meant. Whereas for me, it was like, yes, that's right, but I want to concentrate on this part. And so it wasn't that I was like talking down to her. It was just like my brain is going, no, but I got to clarify that this is what I was trying to say. And so it comes off like I can't be wrong. But then when you get somebody that comes in and says that and like attacks me as they're saying it, then I get defensive on top of having to prove them wrong. And so then I get arrogant. And then I become very condescending in the way I respond. Now that is a character trait. That's not ASD. But like the ASD almost like accentuates that even further on me. Because of the ADHD medications, that has really come to the surface where I can see it now. I think I've always done it. I just never saw it. Now I see it. So the ADHD medications made that more obvious to me. I obviously have certain things that aren't normally expected from somebody with ASD. Anybody who doesn't know ASD, autism spectrum disorder, I think is what it is. Where like eye contact, I'm okay with eye contact. I can make eye contact relatively fine. But I also did theater where like we literally had a class where all we did was sit face to face with somebody and just stare them in the eyes while delivering lines. And I struggled really hard with that, but I'm used to it now. And even when I look at somebody's eyes, I'm not actually looking at their eyes. I'll look at like their eyelids, or I'll look at like the veins in their eyes. I'm not actually looking at their eyes. I'm almost like disconnecting the person from the eye, if that makes sense. So that helps me look people in the eyes. So when I talk to people about it, they're like, yeah, but you're looking me in the eyes. It's like, because I worked really hard to be able to do that. Okay. Hello, Hero Maker. I think you asked me that one time already. What kind of childhood story do you want to hear? Yeah. Deacon, I am bad with names. That is a big one for my ADHD. I am really bad with names, but I'm really good with faces. I can remember a ton of faces, cannot remember their names. Cannot remember their names to save my life. That's why, like, with this game, when somebody's like, oh, did you beat so-and-so? I'm like, I don't know who that is. Did you go to this place? I don't know where that is. Just give me a landmark. Like, earlier, when somebody told me to go to this area, and they're like, in the middle of the lake. Okay, I can look for the lake. I know where I can look for now. But if you just tell me the name, I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea. The red wolf thing, you know? Oh, man. Yeah, I'm definitely inattentive. That's my big ADHD thing, is the inattentive. Hey, Chadley, how are you doing? Welcome. Yeah, I'm the same way, Merle. If somebody points it out, I can't. And I remember as a kid, is there... sorry. Before I move further. Weewin, is there another spawn point around here? I don't know where. I don't know where it would be. Okay, give me a second to think of something, Hero Maker, because I was really awkward growing up. So I don't necessarily have funny stories because I wasn't like, I was just trying to fit in, you know, like being neurodivergent and an immigrant made it really hard for me to kind of be myself. So a lot of it was spent me just trying to kind of fit in. So give me a minute to try to think of something that may have been funny that I would have done as a kid. Oh, I forgot about those, Weewin. Let me try that. I'll try that next time I die. Okay, Krupus, there's not okay. Well, I'll see. Weewin is saying a stake of America or whatever. So I'm going to see if it'll offer me that when I die. I haven't been paying attention. But yeah, Merle, I remember when I was younger, you know, I haven't dated in a really long time. So I don't know if it's still the case. But when I was younger, I had plenty of girls that I would go out with. And yeah, they would point out that I talked a lot. So I tended to date a lot of quiet girls because I talked a lot. I never realized how much I talked. But one of the things that a lot of them would consistently say was that whenever I was going to tell a long story, they knew it was about to happen because I would look away and start talking, looking out into space. And a lot of them would comment about how I couldn't look at them when I was talking to them. And so they would say it in a way of like, are you lying? Is that why you can't look at me? Whereas like for me, it was like, no, I have a hard time keeping my train of thought if I'm looking at you. And to like the way I looked at it was like, if I'm looking at your face, I'm going to get distracted because I'm worried about like, am I making a weird face? Are you actually interested? I'm trying to figure out what your face says. in my mind, I thought it was normal to try to like understand what people were thinking when you were looking at them. And so I couldn't look at them in the face because I would stop my story because I was trying to like figure out, like, am I boring you? Am I interesting? Do you like me? That kind of thing. Am I being annoying? And so I couldn't look at people in the face. Now I know it's because I can't read facial expressions as easily as I thought I could. So I would be distracted because I'm trying to figure out if what I'm doing is socially okay. So I would get a lot of, like, you look away when you're talking and you don't look at me when you're talking. But I never realized it. Now I realize it. And obviously through theater school and stuff, I got way better at looking people in the eyes. Now I can look at people in the eyes. But as soon as it's pointed out to me or I think about it, it instantly becomes uncomfortable. And because when I'm looking at people in the eyes, I'm not actually looking at their eyes. I'm like, almost like, it's almost like out of focus looking at them. I can see their facial expressions a lot easier. And so like with Alana, she's deaf. And so when she's talking to somebody, she mouths what they're saying because she's trying to read their lips as they're saying it. And for me, that distracts me. And so instantly I have a really hard time looking at her in the eyes when we're talking, when she's very attentive in what we're saying, because she'll mouth what I'm saying. And I get totally distracted because I'm watching that, because I'm not actually looking at her eyes. I'm just, unless I'm like in a really emotionally vulnerable moment, that's when I can really connect to somebody's eyes. But it's usually in a moment like if I'm crying or if I'm really upset. And so that doesn't happen very often because I can't connect with my emotions as easily as other people can. Oh my god, I forgot about those, Deacon. I forgot about those.
Of the last queen of Caria.
Huh.
Of the full moon.
Yeah, Krupus, yeah, exactly. During this time, definitely. But I completely forgot about summoning. So, a middle school story. Middle school story. Move. Okay. Oh, did you kill my little squid thing already? Already in one shot? That's lame. Okay. Keep my distance, because I have no way to distract you. Oh, no. Oh, I still have health. Okay. Heal. Oh my god. Oh, the moon again, really? That makes you so proud. I'm just pushing it a million times, so it's actually useless. It's actually useless dodging. It's not doing me any good. I'm not being creative with it at all. Oh god, what funny stories would I have when I was younger? Okay, it wasn't a funny story. It was an embarrassing story, and I don't even know if it would come off as embarrassing to other people or like funny to other people. But my whole life I've sung. I've been singing since before I could talk. One of the things my parents always, like, you know, when they talk about when you were a baby and stuff, one of the things they always bring up, my mom always brings it up, is there was a soap opera she used to watch, and a really famous singer from Mexico, I think she was, sang the theme song to the song. And I would be a baby, and I would wake up singing the song when the soap opera was on because I was in love with singing. I was singing before I could talk. So when I was about 8, I want to say, there was a city choir that took all the best kids from all the schools and made a choir for kids to sing. And I, on a whim, just decided to try out. And so the conductor's like, okay, can you sing? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, okay, can you sing O Canada for me? And I sang like the first sentence. And then he's like, okay, that's enough. And then he's like, can you just sing these notes? And he would hit random keys on the piano. When I sang them, he's like, okay, I want you in my choir. So I joined the choir. I sang with them for 5 years. It's where I learned most of my singing technique as a kid. And I was the strongest singer. I was the soloist in the choir. So every time there was a solo that a boy would sing, I was singing it. And we ended up going to a place called Theatre Aquarius in Ontario. It's a theater for like musicals and stuff like that. It's one of the biggest ones in that city. And so they were going to put on this show for Mother's Day, and we were together with the police choir and some other professional singers, and we were going to sing Whitney Houston's One Moment in Time. And so I was the soloist. I was literally going to sing the opening of the song by myself. Like, you know, each day I live, I want to be the very best, blah, 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 blah. And so I was going to sing that. And up until now, I'd been doing my choir thing, and it was separate from school. There was school life, there was my after school life, and there was my choir life. And the choir had nothing to do with school. And none of my friends in school knew that I was in it. And like they had heard that I had tried out for it, but they didn't know. And I was already like a big nerd. I got made fun of a lot. So it was something I didn't want them to know. And then it turns out we were going to do this, and all the surrounding schools were going to come see this performance. So we're talking about a theater with, you know, a few hundred seats. Let me, I can't even see it. Let me see if I can find real quick. Let me see real quick. How many seats in Theatre Aquarius? Okay, so Theatre Aquarius has 700 seats. That's how many seats are in there. And it was packed to the brim with all the students from my area. At the time, I'm probably about 12 years old when this is happening. So I'm like insanely nervous. We've been practicing for a couple of weeks about this damn song. And then I get to the front and they put a spotlight on, and it's just me. Both choirs are standing behind me. There was a total of like, I want to say it was like about 50 people standing behind me, and it's just me in the spotlight and my conductor in front, and he's conducting me and I'm watching him and I'm singing. And then there's a line that's like, when I'm more than I thought I could be, then in that one moment in time, that one high note, my voice cracks and all the students start laughing. All of them. I was mortified. We had done the show multiple times, and that was one of the last times we were going to be doing it. And my voice cracked that only time in front of all my classmates, when none of them knew I was in a choir, and I was already embarrassed for them to find out I was in a choir. Oh, I forgot to do the Stake of America or whatever. So that was an embarrassing thing that happened around middle school age. That was, it sucked. Okay, so there is no stake? Okay, cool. And thank you, Krupus. Exactly what Krupus said. William, I appreciate you taking the time to hang out, but yeah, my stream is definitely like a chilled, laid back, talking a lot stream. Yeah, I don't think I want to deal with the enemies. I don't think I want to deal with the enemies right now. I'm getting my butt kicked way too much. But yeah, that was my, that was one of the embarrassing things I did as a kid. That was definitely a moment that I'll never forget. A moment in time I will never forget. Now, as an adult, I look back at those times and I laugh at how embarrassed I was. Because now I know that not everybody has a vocal talent. I also know that a lot of people wish that they could sing. And most people who aren't performers would be too afraid to get in front of 700 people to sing a song at 12 years old. And I was doing it under a spotlight. So like now as an adult, I'm like, I should have been really proud whether my voice cracked or not. But when you're a kid, it's hard. Now, on the other hand, I don't care if I embarrass myself on stage, if I make mistakes on stage, if something goes badly on stage. I'm just proud I got over it. Like I got through it. Yes, I am. Yes, I am, S. Yeah, like growing up, I didn't do too many like funny, embarrassing things. The embarrassing things I did were just embarrassing. There wasn't really any like quirky, funny part to it. Oh no, I'm out of stamina. Okay, whew. We're good. Stop aiming. Hold on, Deacon, I can't read what you're saying and make sense of it. This is ADHD kicking in. I can read the words. I can't make sense of what it's saying. Give me a second. During the video, I'll read what you're saying. I know it's something about the way that I'm attacking, and I'm assuming you're saying a more convenient way of doing it, but I can't make sense of what you're saying. Give me a second here. Ouch. Are you down yet? Oh no, you're still up. Okay. Oh, I'm not two-handing. That would help. Okay. I see you keep using that sword skill. In my opinion, it's about the need. Light hits for the win, stack that bleed. Okay. What I just did there. That's what you're saying. Okay. S, I'm finding this part a bit more difficult. This part's a bit harder. Because she does this like heavy attack right at the start, and it's hard for me to dodge it. Oh god, come on. Oh god, here it goes. Okay, and go. No! It took too long. The animation took too long. Okay, we're gonna do the slow attack so that way my blue thingy is full by this fight, so... We're getting there. I gotta stop soon, but I want to beat this boss. Before that happens. But yeah, Hero, I'm not sure if that story met your expectations, but that's a story from when I was younger. So I will not be live for the rest of the weekend, like usual. I am working. I know it's Easter, but I'm going to be working every night, just making my schedule a little bit easier, because technically I have a day off, like an extra day off, but if I take that day off, the way that it would work out is I would end up working my full shift on Monday. But if I'm willing to work the whole weekend through, then I only have to work for a couple of hours on Monday and a couple of hours on the other days, so I can make my day a little bit easier. I can be home a lot earlier, so I'm going to be working all weekend, so I'm definitely not going to be streaming all weekend, but I should be back on Tuesday. We'll continue with this for sure. I'm liking these afternoon streams. If you didn't realize it, I had been doing Thursday streams way later in the evening. If you're in Europe, it would have been early Friday morning. But they weren't really working out, and I've mentioned this a few times, and I'm not mentioning it. What are you doing, step bro? Thank you so much. Cover, I appreciate that. Thank you. Infinity Gamer, hello, nice to see you. So I'm not, okay, let me clarify before I say it, because I don't want somebody in here saying that I'm like disparaging the people that are watching me. I'm saying this because there's a criteria I'm trying to meet, not because I care that there's not more people watching me. Please, if you're going to get upset about this, let me repeat. I'm saying this because there is a certain threshold for the criteria that I need to meet. Stop doing that. Something's wrong with my lights. I think they're dying. That's it. We got to have like a subathon to get new lights. So I'm doing this because there's a certain standard I need to meet, not because I care about it. But I am part of the Deep Silver Creator Collective, which is their partnership with content creators to review their games, test out their games, promote their games. And they have certain expectations of the content creators they take on. The thing is that they look at your concurrent viewers on Twitch specifically, and they don't look at TikTok or anything like that. So like the fact that I have a fairly large following on TikTok and have videos that do relatively well, doesn't really come into their scope of what they're looking at, but the concurrent viewers do. And so I have to keep my concurrent viewers up. And right now they're far below what they're expecting. Their minimum is like 15 concurrent viewers. And right now on TikTok, we've got 7. On Twitch, we've got 8. So we're looking at 15 Like we're right at the criteria there, but they're not going to look at both. They're going to look at Twitch, which is only 8 right now. So I was doing Thursday night streams, but the Thursday night streams nobody would come to. And so I would average like 1, maybe 2 viewers. And even though I was doing between 8 and 12 on the other days, the 1 or 2 viewers would sink my concurrent viewers. So my concurrent viewers were sitting at about 5 or 6, which looks bad. So I've switched my Thursday stream to a daytime stream now, the same time as this. And yesterday I was averaging 16. So it's going to keep my concurrent viewer count up, which means it keeps me in the running to stay in the group. So again, it's not because I care about the numbers. It's because if I dip low enough, they will ask me to leave. And I like working with Deep Silver, and I don't want to lose that opportunity. So if you didn't know, I'm live Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at around this time. So, and we're doing Dead Space on Thursdays right now. I don't know, Krupus. I don't know. It was funny. I have the silver pickled foot, and I have the gold pickled fowl foot. I don't think I have the Eagle Claw talisman. Where would the talisman be? Shields, head, chest, arms, legs, talismans. There you go. Twin blade, red dragon, roar, sacrificial twig. That's all I've got. Brian, it is the same as it is here on TikTok. It's retro for the first time on all Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. All right, here we go. Let's do it. Light attacks, light attacks, light attacks. Brian, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that. But yeah, so I'm streaming those 3 days. It's usually a lot shorter because I have to pick Nora up at school. Because it's a holiday right now, she's at home, so I'm able to kind of be a little bit different. But usually it's only like a 2-hour stream, hour and a half, depending on when I get up. Because I have to be done by 2:30. Like right now, it is 3:44. I have to be done at 2:30 because I have to pick Nora up from school. But yeah, it's a little bit more convenient for everybody else to come hang out. And it helps keep my concurrent viewership up, which is really important right now. And so that's why I'm moving it to Thursdays. Uh-oh. I should have moved faster. You have 2 kids yourself? Yeah, so it really, you know, she's good. She's old enough now that she can, like, right now she's just sitting in the living room on her tablet, and she's fine. I should stop because I need to spend time with her, but like, all the little things, they eat up your day really quickly. Like, for me, I work night shift, right? So I get up at around 10:30 in the morning, 11 o'clock. And because I wear a hair system, it takes me about an hour to do my whole morning routine of showering and doing the maintenance on the hair and all that stuff. I have acne, so like the face cleansing and all that adds up. So it's like about an hour that it takes me to get ready. So if I get up at 10:30, I'm not ready until 11:30. My stream I usually have set to start at 12:30. Well, I have to have breakfast and then set up the stream itself. So I usually cut it pretty short. And so that's eaten a big chunk of my day. And then I stream, and then I got to pick up Nora, right? And so I pick up Nora. Now, her school has like a tiny, tiny little driveway for the cars to line up. You can line up like 5 cars in front of the school. If I'm not there early enough, I can't line up in front of the school, and I either have to park a block or 2 away, or just keep driving around the block until they open up a space so I can get in and wait for her outside of the school. So I have to show up about 20 minutes before she's done school. So there's another 20 minutes gone. I bring her home, she does her homework and all that stuff. So by then we're looking at like 3:30 in the evening, and then dinner is in 2 hours. So I can't really do much before dinner. Then she has dinner, that takes about an hour. So now we're looking closer to 6:30 in the evening. And then she gets ready for bed at 8:30-ish is when the routine starts. So 2 hours again. And then it's an hour, the whole process takes an hour for her to get to bed. So now it's like 9:30. Depending on like how the process goes. And then I start work at 10. So my day is gone. Even though each thing that I did with Nora was only like half an hour, it ate my whole day. So like it makes it really hard to schedule things because I don't have like a huge chunk of the day. And because I work night shift, I'm not able to get up earlier. That might change in the near future. That might change in the near future where I'll be able to, okay, this is going to be the last fight and then I have to stop, where I'm going to have a lot more free time. But like for now, yeah, I love being a dad. Don't get me wrong. But there's like just those little things add up. And then all of a sudden your schedule is completely out of your control. That's why Thursdays are a really good day for me because I'm off all day. So I'm off all Wednesday too. So I take all Wednesday to do like my laundry and all the dishes and everything that I need to catch up on. And then Thursday I spend the day, you know, I do my stream, I grab Nora, and then like the evening I'm free to just like relax for myself. But it can be really hard. It can be really, really hard. Yeah, Brian. And so like for me, I start work at 10. And my work, because I'm a subcontractor, my type of work, it's per contract. It's not like an hourly thing. So I can have a night where I'm done like as early as 2 in the morning. I can have a night where like I'm out until 6 in the morning and there's just nothing I can do about it. It all varies on what's happening at work. So when I get home, I'm dead tired. And because I have to get up to grab Nora and stuff, and the stream and all that, like I'm usually running on like 5 or 6 hours of sleep. So when I get home, the last thing I want to do is game because I want to get ready for bed. If I haven't eaten, I'll eat something and then get ready for bed, or it's go straight to bed. So I don't get a chance to game after work. And then when I get up, like I said, I just gave you my whole schedule. So I don't really get much time to game on my own, which really sucks. Now it was a thing that I did consciously because I was doing a little bit of gaming on my own when I wasn't streaming. I took a really long break. But it didn't feel, what's the word I'm looking for? As satisfying when I would game on my own versus when I'm gaming on stream. Because when I'm gaming on stream, I'm hanging out with you guys. We all get to laugh at my terrible gameplay. Whereas when I'm by myself and I suck, there's no one to laugh with me. So I just get frustrated at myself and then it's not fun. And you know, it was a nice hobby that I had to do this. So I knew that by gaming on stream, I was going to lose the freedom of casually gaming on my own. So it was a sacrifice I made consciously. But that's why I don't stream Wednesdays and I only stream Thursdays. Yeah, so I do Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. That's what I do. I don't stream Wednesdays because I want Wednesday night to just be for me. And so Wednesday night, once I'm done everything, I literally spend the whole time in the evening after Nora's gone to bed and Alana's at work and stuff. I spend just gaming on my own. I usually throw on the VR headset and play for a couple of hours. But yeah, you need that time. You need that time to just game by yourself and enjoy. Even though having a family is awesome, it's nice to have that little bit of freedom where you can just kind of sink your head into a full game and not have to always have an ear out of like, is everything okay? Is everything fine? Do they need me for something? Okay, we win. I'll take a look. Give me just a second here. Move, move, move. I'm gonna die. Oh, that was so close. That would have killed me if I hadn't moved away right when I did. Where's the other one? Where's the other one? Where are you? There it is. You get 2 hours of sleep. Yeah, it can be really rough. It can be really rough. And the only reason I'm even surviving now is, one, my ADHD medications help kind of keep me energized. And two, I have a CPAP machine. I have sleep apnea, so I wear a mask to sleep. Whoa. So being able to have like a really solid sleep, even if it's a short sleep, is a godsend. If I didn't have my CPAP machine, this just would not be happening. There would be no way I could stream with the little sleep that I get if I wasn't like in a solid sleep. Sell the kids and play more games. Yes, I will. I will do that. I will do that. 100%. Okay. Here we go. This is the last shot. This is the last shot. Here we go. And dodge for your life. Okay, and this guy. You're gonna kill my little squid guy, aren't you? She is kicking my butt. She is kicking my butt. If you run straight ahead and then attack, will she get like staggered away from doing it? Is that what's gonna happen? Yeah, it's the same with me, Brian. It's the same with me. Okay. I better stop. I have to be a dad. I have to be a dad. But it's the same with me. Did it not switch? I can't see. Oh yeah, it did switch. It did switch. It just hasn't switched on my tablet. I was never interested in Minecraft. Minecraft to me was something that I was like, nope, no interest in Minecraft whatsoever. I had what the hell is going on with my light? I think it's dead. I think my light is dead. That really sucks. I mean, I've had it for 6 years, so I'm not complaining. It was a good light for 6 years. Anyways, I had a lot of viewers because I used to stream a lot of like Mario and Nintendo stuff. So I had a lot of younger viewers. I had a lot of viewers that would beg me to play Minecraft. And I was like, no, I'm not interested in Minecraft. I don't want a game that gives you nothing to do. And then we got Minecraft for my daughter because she was obsessed with it because they would do educational Minecraft at school. And so we got it for her birthday. And she would play, but like she seemed disappointed because at school she was playing with her friends and at home she was by herself. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna sit down and force myself to play Minecraft for 1 hour to get the gist of it, and then it'll be a good reason for me, a good excuse for me to play with her. You know, and then we'll have something that we can bond with. And so I sat and played for about an hour and I started to get it. I started to understand. So I started doing research, because my brain, to figure out, you know, all the different mechanics, how the game works, how to make the game more fun. And her and I started to play together. And then I became obsessed with Minecraft. And then I started playing all on my own. A whole lot. Even now, I just like 3 days ago, I spent about 5 hours just like working on different things on my little farm that I had built. But my daughter and I, that's what we do. She'll sit on the couch and she'll play her own little world. I'll play my world, and we're just playing together, but not together. And then there's days where she wants to play together, and we just play in our own little world that we have together. So yeah, we game a lot. That's one of our bonding things. That's why one of the things that I do on the channel, I haven't done it a lot lately, but I was doing it a lot, was I would call out like the toxic masculine gaming thing that goes on where like guys or girls aren't real gamers and all that stuff. Because like my kid is a girl who games, and she games more than some of the boys that she is friends with. You know, and her mom games like crazy, and I run a whole stream. My whole thing is about gaming. So I want her to not be put down for being a gamer, because she's a gamer. And it's not like she's I'm a gamer and doesn't know anything. She's surrounded by gaming. I mean, look, you can kind of see it. I don't know if you can see it so much on TikTok, but like I've got shelves of gaming stuff. So she's like surrounded by it. So Minecraft was our way to kind of bond together. I loved it. It goes over you. Oh, okay, Croupy. Okay. Croupis. Okay. Yeah, next time we're going to beat. Next time. All right, everybody. I'm going to get out of here. Oh, we win before I go. Clapped LBZ. Thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate that. But yes, I will be back on Tuesday. Tuesday is when I'll be back. Ooh, that looks nice, we win. That looks really nice. All the fancy RGB. You are a true gamer. You have RGB. That's the only way. There's nothing that says that you're a gamer or not, except for having RGB. If you don't have RGB, you're not a gamer. Nice, we win. It looks great. Okay, so I'm going to be back on Tuesday. We'll continue with this. We'll beat this boss on Tuesday. And then if you can't make it Tuesday, I'll be live on Thursday playing some Dead Space, and then Friday again. And yeah, keep an eye out. I'm going to be posting, if you don't follow me on TikTok, I'm going to be posting a bunch of videos on TikTok. I'm going to try to remember to post them on YouTube, but I'm going to be posting a bunch on TikTok. I've written a few scripts out. I'm going to record some later today, maybe tomorrow, to get those going. And that's kind of where we are. So yeah, thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate you all being here. Merle, Wewin, Nikki, Infinity Gamer, Preston, if you're still listening. Deacon, Krupus, Brian, everybody, thank you so much for all being here and putting up with me dying a million times. But at least we're doing something. We're not just wandering around in a field like we did for 5 or 6 streams because I suck at knowing what to do. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. TikTok, have yourselves a good day. See you later. And YouTube and Twitch, thank you for being here. Thank you for getting that viewer count up. That is so exciting because I don't want to lose this this Deep Silver thing. I love Deep Silver games, and I really, really want to have access to their games, and I'm looking forward to Dead Island 2. I'm so excited. All right, everybody. See you later. Take care. I'll see you in a few days. Have a good weekend, and I hope you all enjoy and stay safe.